We are live. I always forget where to look. Camera's right there. Okay. Let me find this. I just want to open up my own stream. There we go. I can see myself. Now to invite people, invite guests, copy, post the link. Open to anybody. I'm just hanging out. I'll put working on audio. We can talk about our favorite RPG moments or whatever. Why are my dice no longer showing? One thing after another. Should probably be OBS virtual camera. Oh, start virtual camera. That's why. It's mirrored. I don't want it mirrored. There we go. All right. Hell yeah, look at that. Okay, I see Conway in the chat. He says, look and sound great. He hears clicking. Okay, you see me now. Good. Good. I have to remember to keep looking here. But I've got two screens and my phone down here, so I'm getting used to it. Yeah, you can see the dice and everything. I set up these ones. I like them. Kind of like Shauner dice, but not quite. I just like black and red. Yeah, change the name of the stream. Let's see. Practice stream plus Hangout. There we go. Yeah, stream name change to practice. Stream plus Hangout. Yeah, again, the invites in the Discord if anyone wants to join in. Otherwise, or just, comment whatever. Favorite RPG session or campaign or favorite moment. Or otherwise, have any audio advice. I'm going to keep messing with that. Because I think I should actually be a bit louder. Or if not significantly louder. Yeah, because I did a video with these settings and tested it and did stats for nerds, and I'm like minus 11.8 decibels. So maybe I can do display capture. Here we go, so you can see the display. And okay, so here's my audio here. Ignore this one. The second one here is like my dice. Yeah, it's just a dice. This one is my voice. So dice look good. They're not that loud. My voice, on the other hand, is what, up here? Minus 20? Hey, Zonalar. Yeah, in the flesh. You can just call me David. But yes, I am the elusive elf hunter. So I sound good. It's Captain Conway saying I sound good. That's good. What's your opinion, Zonalar? I don't know if you just joined. Yeah, you just joined a minute ago. I'm the elf hunter. Okay, I'll roll with it then. But yeah, Conway's saying my sound sounds good. I was thinking I need to be louder. I have these two filters, compressor and expander, and just based off a couple OBS tutorials, that's what I fiddled around with it. But if both you guys are saying it's good, then that's awesome. I guess that's everything. Good to go. I figured out how to put PNGs down here so I could put a little avatar next time. Got the background blurred. I still got the fan going, but it's blurred. So do you guys think that's fine? Could be louder, but not a game breaker. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if I'm here, I might as well make it a little louder. Kind of forget what these are, to be honest. Compressor and expander. The whirring souls of elves rotating that machine just to help cool down your room. That's actually correct. That's what it is. That's what it's been the whole time. So yeah, maybe I'll mess with this stuff later. But if you guys say it's good, then sounds good. What do I have here? Settings. I think all this stuff is fine. Yeah. Elftricity. Oh, yes. Quite. Yeah, I figured I was going to be up all night, messing around with this stuff. So I got coffee just to keep me awake. Terrible idea, but doesn't sound like Nicholas using the webcam mic for 3 sessions in a row without noticing. That's funny. Yeah, sometimes, see, I just have this mic that clips onto me here, and it's fallen off like multiple times. And the first time, it was just sitting in my lap for like an hour before I noticed. Terrible. It's that the UNPC session on the New Dawn with me, Uriah, Phil, and Adam. Yeah, halfway through I realized. For my percentile dice, I have this. It randomly generates a number on each face. See? It's different every time. I want to see if I can make one that's just like the traditional D100 where it's 2 dice. But these look cool, so I really like the font. Oh, and I need to make them flip around so you can read all of them. I'll do that later. It doesn't matter that much. Anyway. Let me know if y'all... Let's see, y'all are still watching. Yeah. I'll just start off. My probably my favorite roleplay moment was it was a no prep challenge, just me and Adept, one of the earlier games that I've done in 4D. He was GMing, I was the player. And we rolled up Cyberpunk despite neither of us not really knowing anything about Cyberpunk. So anyway, I was this young gangster guy, maybe like 18 or 20. And there was this NPC from a rival gang that I kind of got mixed up with. Long story short, it's like despite being in rival gangs, we sided up together to take down the corpos, basically. And the best part of the game was just us walking to the apartment of our objective, basically, and just talking about how everything's crap, everything's messed up for guys like us, just a heart-to-heart talk. And that was honestly the best part. Just walking and talking. Want someone to bounce ideas off? I would be down to have a chat. We haven't talked directly much before. Let's see, add to stage. There you are.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. I'm glad I can hear you. I was like, oh God, is this going to work? Yeah, it worked.
It's fine. Everything's working fine.
Good.
It's great to talk to you for the first time, David. I think we've not really exchanged ideas like this, like face to face before. Not even in just voice chat.
Not really. No.
We both played in the NPCs, although we never
not
caught
at
one
the same
another
time.
Yeah. I've had a lot of fun in the Uriah NPCs.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have too.
Uriah is a great game master. Well, he's a great player too. I think he's got a knack for it, a natural knack,
Yeah, I think I watched your game. It was the one where you rolled Utopia, right? Utopia or Dystopia? I remember that.
The one that I was just talking about now?
Yeah. No, sorry, the NPC one.
The one with Uriah? The New Dawn? Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. You know,
But
I
what
was
about this gangster game that we've been talking about though?
yeah. So this, I don't know if it's uploaded on my channel or what. Maybe it's on Adept's channel. But yeah, it was Cyberpunk. We didn't know much about Cyberpunk, so it kind of ended up feeling more like noir. But yeah, I was like this gangster kid. I was sent on this mission by the by my boss, and I went over to this. I don't know if I want to if I summarize the whole session, I'll just be talking for like an hour. I'll try to be quick.
I don't
But
think I watched that one, but
yeah,
it seems like the setup is you want to talk about things that are really interesting in a role playing game that you've played before, right? So
yeah,
what has like caught your imagination with it?
yeah. It was just like what I was saying before, just the fact that I was able to bond with this other guy, this rival gangster that I previously never met. We should be wanting to kill each other because like uh he almost ran me over with the motorcycle. I almost shot him. I don't even remember, you know. Um but somehow we worked it out and we're like, you know what, this all sucks. Let's go take it to the man and take care of business.
I like that. That's cool. So it's
Yeah.
that is something that is interesting because who was playing this other gangster? Was it the GM?
Yeah. It
Oh,
was
that's
just
really
us
cool.
two.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what makes me so that makes me think of a situation where the GM is actually role playing properly the other NPCs, right? Because
Uh-huh.
in the role play sphere, we're talking a lot about what players do. But we also need to think about what the GM is doing, and the GM's job is slightly more difficult because he has to keep a lot of different characters in mind. And just in general, he is the one that is like the catalyst that allows everyone to get really deep in character. Usually, the
Hmm.
GM can't get as deep in character as the other players, but in some situations, like the one you described, it sounds like that's exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
To the point that one of the NPCs was really deep, and it created this very cool dynamic between the NPC and the player character. Right, that's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, it was the realist part of the session. You know, we're just using the
It's
simple
always
rule set,
jarring.
you know. Go ahead.
It's always jarring when the GM plays like a human, like the guy just fights to the death without saying anything. You know, it's extremely jarring.
Yeah.
Like you actually play someone, play that role. Like role play solves everything. When you play that role, then the person actually feels real, and the game like really benefits from it.
Yeah. It's it's true. Roleplay solves everything. And it's like when you realize the role of a GM is just role playing other characters, you're like, oh, this simplifies everything.
Exactly. I don't really
Makes it
prep
better.
as a GM anymore. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
prep as the characters I'm playing when I'm GMing, right?
Uh-huh.
If the players like disrupted this guy's like supply lines, like this Duke, like this evil Duke that they're fighting, the Duke I should prep for him. Like, what is he doing? He's getting like reports from his troops. Like, oh, they raided our supply lines, right? The Duke is going to prepare something, not really me as a GM. But of course, I'm the one actually playing the Duke, so I don't really
Mm.
do prep anymore. That's a very that's a different topic, right? But the characters in my world that I play should be prepping, and you should take them into account as time goes on in the fictional story. Otherwise, the world feels stagnant. It's like, oh, a month passed and nothing really new happened. Like the Duke didn't do anything. He got like this report that his troops got
Oh
attacked
yeah.
like weeks ago, and he didn't do anything about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, and I don't mind us going off topic or off the rails at all. I'm just whatever. By the way.
That's fine. It makes me think of a game that I ran. This was before I did 4D. Uh,
Hmm.
of course, after I got into 4D, I couldn't play like any other type of RPG. But
I can't either. I tried it.
yeah, but before I did 4D, I ran a game, and I already had this like mentality almost. I was very simulationist back then,
Mm.
and I ran a game where the the players were being attacked by a group of bandits, but I didn't want this to just be like another random encounter in the road.
Yeah.
So as soon as the players initiated combat and they hit one of the bandits and he fell down, the combat was over because the other bandit just like ran over to their friend like, "What have you done? You've killed him!" Right? The guy's like bleeding out on the floor,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
then the players started having conversation with the bandits, and the bandits just wanted like to have the means to survive. The local village is like in despair, and there's no work for them, and they don't have any land. So they,
Uh-huh.
they turn to banditry because they didn't want to starve. And then the player's like, "Oh, okay, we're just gonna take you to the authorities then." And then the bandits beg them, "No, don't take us to the authorities. They'll like quarter us. They'll hang us."
Uh-huh.
So now the player's like, "Damn, like we don't know what to do with these guys." So they ended up
Mm.
hiring those bandits. They became like camp followers,
Well, that's cool.
which is like a pretty cool little story because the players are playing like people with modern day sentiment, right? I don't think like a
Mm-hmm.
medieval person would care about a bandit being hanged. But it's
Mm-hmm.
cool when that kind of thing occurs because now it's like very memorable. Otherwise, it
Yeah.
would just a normal bandit fight. Like, oh yeah, roll initiative, I'll 3 rounds in, kill them all. That's it, right? But it generated a
Yeah.
much cooler story by having that verisimilitude to it.
When it sets in that you're like, oh shoot, these are real people, changes everything. It's
It
more
really
fun.
does, yeah.
It's more fun than Bandit Fight number 30, you know. You know. I like that. Uh I've noticed the past couple of games that I've watched, some of the realest, most believable moments has been like when someone's just cursing under their breath or something. Like I'm watching Rick's game, the Shadow Under the Stars or something. I don't remember what happened, but like the ship blows up or something, and the character's just like shit, and in that, I don't know, it feels more real.
That's part of
I
acting
don't know
human,
if
right?
there's something to that. Yeah, you feel their voice in it, I guess. Another one I liked was it's the Mithras campaign I'm in right now. Mithras, what's it called? Miros Doomed. Um, so I'm a soldier, like a Roman soldier, and I get orders from the queen to go and basically covertly murder this person in another town. She is the thing is she's my friend and she helped me on the last mission, but I come to find out she's responsible for like a lot of people dying in the last mission without going to, explaining everything. So I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? And then I'm thinking, well, if I don't do it, what's going to happen to my family? And I actually have a family in this game, you know? And so I, after I get the orders, my character's all sullen. I come home to my house, my family I have 2 little girls. And then I go to my wife, I'm all sullen. And then I'm like sitting on the bed and telling her all about this. I'm like, I need you to sit down. It gets all serious. It feels like a scene from like a military show where the guy's telling his wife, he's like, I'm going to be gone for a while,
Dude,
But
that's
if,
awesome.
yeah, it was
There's
the
like so
best
much
part of it.
richness in that, right?
Yeah, it was the best part. It felt real. Like I asked Adept about it too. He's like, yeah, I could imagine that scene like vividly.
There's a lot of
That's
richness in
funny.
that, in like how it's like very tied to like human existence, I guess. Like since
Hmm.
RPGs are basically playing out in our heads and we're using language for them, it's very easy to steep them in this very rich narrative history that all humans follow. Really, humans are storytelling animals is a very good phrase that I've heard before, and a good book as well. The name of a good
Mm-hmm.
book. So you can like very easily give a lot of meaning to something like pretty simple in an RPG, really. Because if you think about it, if you were playing this like 2D, it's like, oh, whatever, right? We got more XP by following this path. We killed more
Yeah,
monsters, right?
I've
When
had
you're
enough
actually
of that.
caring about,
Yeah,
yeah, when you're caring more about people that are actually dying out there.
yeah. Like, am I gonna obey the queen? Am I gonna save my family? Gonna save my friend? Am I gonna kill my friend? Um, oh, Zonalar left a comment like 8 minutes ago. I got to get better at reading this. But he said, I like the diner scene a lot. Okay. Zonalar, I think you're thinking about another Cyberpunk game. It was me and Adam when I was vetting Adam. Yeah, that was a great scene. he was yeah, uh he was just like this guy looking for his next fix, basically. And
I
so he
watched that one.
stole.
Yeah,
Yeah, you remember in the diner scene, he's just talking to the waitress. Just a normal conversation, but it's not patty cake. It's kind of like developing the character.
that was great because I think the two of you invented the Waitress character out of nowhere, and that's like
Mm,
the really cool part of it because it was a very good 4D moment. I don't know who introduced her
yeah,
first, but both of you like played off of one another, like bouncing details, until we got like this very vivid detail in my imagination of how those two characters met, right? Because they don't really like one
yeah.
another, but she can help him like traffic items, and they've had like some
Uh-huh.
deals before. You know, it's a pretty interesting. It's very cool how you came up with that organically just by 4Ding it in the spot. That was one of the more
Absolutely.
memorable moments of that game.
Yeah. Until the end, and it just oh, that was so funny when I looking back, it's funny when I brought in that cop out of nowhere. Oh, it was
It didn't
bad.
really feel
It was
believable.
bad.
I think
No.
that was like the only issue I had with it.
What it if I had said a cop car pulls up, but like I just left the cop's turn at that. He didn't come out yet. Would that be at least believable to you?
Uh,
And then he comes out on the next turn or something. Or it's too convenient.
well, no, it can happen, right? There is some availability there for the geometries to change things in the world. There was like the issue of turnflation, but
Yeah.
I don't remember the. It was like a Zonalar critique of your game. I don't remember exactly why,
Hmm.
but Zonalar had a very good reason as to why it didn't make a lot of sense for Cop to be there. Maybe it was like a bad neighborhood. I don't perfectly remember. It's like some time ago.
Hmm. Yeah. I think it was plausible enough. It just was, yeah, inflated for
The
sure.
turnflation was bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even realize I was doing that in the moment. And then looking back, I was like, oh God. I guess, I don't know why. I guess it's because I was struggling to figure out what's going to happen next. And then I just spit it out all at once.
Oh, that can happen. Yeah. Often when I'm
Yeah.
GMing, I get like a million ideas of what could happen, and I need to just like let them go. And it's really
Hmm.
awkward to let them go because I really want. Because I think I have some very cool ideas. This happened in I don't know if Zonalar is still here, but this happened in our Trench Punk game. It was another NPC that I played with Zonalar, Uriah, and Nicholas.
Okay.
Um, there was
I
a
did.
scene. You didn't watch. That's fine if you didn't watch. If you haven't watched it. But there was a scene where they were in like a hollowed out factory, like a bombed factory, and
Uh-huh.
I introduced a corpse that they found as soon as Nicholas like cracks a little chem light, and I wanted to say that the corpse had a pistol on him because this is like a very big deal. They're playing like a post-apocalyptic game. They had like 3 bullets
Hmm.
throughout the whole game,
Oh,
and I wanted to
shoot.
say that I wanted to say that the corpse had like a pistol with like 2 rounds on it, but the players kept like pushing the game forward, and I didn't find the time to introduce that little detail to it. And in the grand scheme of things, it
Ah,
was an NPC. That detail wasn't important for like for the future. So it kind of just went on, and we didn't go anywhere, right? But
yeah.
it's fine because the game continued
The
going
game
on
goes on.
organically. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the Mudmen scene that happened right afterwards is very fun because in that
Oh,
game it's like a post-apocalyptic game. Like there's like trenches, and they live in a trench. The Mudmen like they
oh.
don't have any trenches, so there's feral
They,
humans like covered in mud, like charging you with a club.
oh, that's cool. They
Yeah.
live in the mud. So,
Actually, in this game, they had like 3 bullets, right? Zonalar's characters shot one of the Mudmen, and the rest ran away because it's a gun. They're not gonna like hang
yeah.
around if someone is shooting at them, right? So they use like one shot, and they scared off a whole like tribe of Mudmen. That's like the thing of
Mudman.
like playing like yeah, playing like a character that feels like real, because then
Uh-huh.
that adds like a lot of enjoyment to the RP.
Oh, yeah. Zonalar asked, does he still got his boots on, though?
Yeah, in fact, if you go back, I described it as like his boots are still on him, and that's the first thing that anyone grabs. And then we moved on past that, right? I was like showing to the players that this guy has loot on him. Like, oh yeah, the first thing they grab is the boots, and he still had those on,
because
right?
because you don't want to get trench foot.
Oh yeah,
No,
definitely. And just making boots is
I,
difficult. Like imagine like the first World War went on for 200 years. There's like no more industry, no more like animals for you to
ooh,
make boots out of.
yeah, I see. So you said the setup was the first World War went on for 200 years.
Yeah, that's the idea for the game. We were playing in an
Whoa.
NPC. We were playing an NPC, right? And we rolled apocalyptic for setting
Mhm.
and then heroic for tone. And I didn't want to do
Yeah.
like the usual, like, oh, it's like nuclear wasteland or like zombie wasteland.
Hmm.
So
Mud Wasteland.
yeah, we started bouncing ideas around, and the idea was like, yeah, what if World War One never ended? It went on for 200 years. There aren't even countries and nations anymore. Like we are like this
Oh, dude.
tribe that lives in this trench, and we
Hmm.
raid the other trenches like to get food and weapons. It's more like a
That's such a cool
tribal
idea.
kind of thing. Yeah. Oh yeah, really, dude. I've been talking and thinking about that
Hmm.
setting like ever since we played that game because it was really cool.
So yeah, that's the thing about UNPCs is it's like some of those settings are really cool. You want to develop them and write them out, and then
Yeah,
maybe
fleshing them
sell
out
it.
afterwards is great, dude.
Y'all could do that. Write out Trench Punk. Write it up. 30 pages, 50, 100 pages, whatever. Sell it. There you go.
Oh yeah. Uh, I like that game was great. That was like a very good session. If you'd want to like go back and watch it. I don't usually
I'll check
rewatch
that
my
one out.
sessions. I don't
Hmm.
usually like rewatch my sessions, but I did rewatch that one afterwards, and yeah, it stands up. It's good to visualize even like watching it. It wasn't just fun to play at the time.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think we did a great job. I really like Sonolar's character if he's still here, and I love that detail. While they're playing, they do end up running into like a bigger tribe, like a more powerful faction in the
Hmm.
trench desolate world. And these guys, they had like supply lines, they had like trucks, like delivering more ammunition to. Oh, by the way, the players had 3 bullets, right, when they
Yeah.
started the game, and these guys, they had fully automatic rifles instead of just like normal rifles. Uh,
So you want to get what they got if you
you want to get
can.
what they got, yeah. And the thing is, they had like this massive like cannon, just like shooting. In fact, Zonalar called it
Nice.
the Nomad Cannon
The Nomad
because,
Cannon.
which is such a cool name, because it's one of those self-propelled guns, SPGs, like tank tracks, like moving the cannon around,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and there were trucks like bringing ammunition to the cannon. And the Zonalar just dropped the hardest line. It's the Nomad Cannon. That's so cool. And what happened was like the cannon was firing like periodically, right? It was shelling the trenches.
Hmm.
And they still had 2 bullets by that time. So they waited for the cannon to like shoot, and like they timed the sound of the cannon with the sound of the rifle to shoot one of the guards down, and they killed one of the guards without anyone
Oh,
realizing.
that is
It was
awesome.
such a cool scene. I had no
If
idea that they could do this.
if I my home group would never think of that. I'm sorry, guys.
But that's the thing,
I
though.
would never think of that, honestly.
I didn't think of it. If you go watch the VOD, it was like my eyes like opened up as soon as I said, "Oh, that's so cool."
Yeah,
And then
that's
they
so
went up to this
smart.
guy, and he had like a gas mask, which is also a
Mhm.
rare item, and he had a fully automatic rifle with like 60 rounds on it. So from that point on, they had as much ammunition as they wanted it. And then like
Hell
shenanigans
yeah, man.
ensued. It was a great game.
Hell yeah. Sounds awesome. Solar has a couple comments. First one, the cool part is people always have ideas in the 40 circles. With local friends, sometimes it feels like they can't think of anything. Maybe people feel the pressure. Yeah, the UNPC just helps with that naturally. And then, when you're playing in a setting that's unfamiliar, you're going to think of something, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
And something about 4D, you're you have to be creating while you're playing. So that's part of it. That's the fun of it. And then he said, honestly, I really enjoyed how I described burning my hand.
Oh, okay. So we were playing Easy D6, which is a system that I'm not very familiar with. Zonalar, before the session, we were like setting up. We roll. You know, you played it on PC. You know how it is. We roll up the setting, but
Hmm.
we take like 20 minutes to flesh it out before we go in.
Yeah.
He was creating a character, and he described how he had an ability that he could like damage himself to, but also deal more damage to the enemy. And
Hmm.
then right after this thing I told you that they like shot a guard by the nomad cannon, they went down into a trench and then into a bunker, which had it had trench ghouls on it, which is like a kind of like a chupacabra thing. It's a dog, but it
Nice.
doesn't have any hair anymore. So there's like this massive white rat,
Ooh.
basically. And
That's
people in the
cool.
setting call it trench ghouls or like white devils. They had like three different names, and it was very cool that they had like a little confusing conversation because it's kind of like
Because of the
fairy tale creatures. They don't have like just one name, right? Like, what's the difference between an
yeah.
ogre and an orc? There's no difference.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing. But
Well, ogres have layers.
yeah, true. But regardless, right? They were fighting like these trench ghouls, and Zonalar used the ability to deal more damage. And at the time, he didn't describe like how it went, but later on, he described like he was like holding. He never shot a fully automatic rifle before, so he was like holding the barrel of the rifle down while he was shooting. And then he described himself like looking at his hand, and it was like melting because he was holding like a hot barrel.
Ooh.
And that's such a cool like visual description of like what the rules,
Hmm.
uh, how the rules worked. Right, that's how he took damage to deal more damage while shooting a gun.
That's why I love 4D
Exactly.
or even 3D. But you you can imagine these scenes like movies, and I know we're not trying to make a movie, and some necessarily, but you can imagine them so easily, so vivid. When the hand melting and everything. Every time I play one, I want to, I'm like, oh, I want to write this down, make a movie. I'm like, calm down, calm down. Can't do that every time.
Yeah,
And
Nicholas said that he wanted to grab like a section of that game and make a little animatics like thing of it, kind of like one of those
oh
like
yeah,
animationists on it. That'd be awesome. It was
yeah,
a really cool game. It felt really really cinematic, and yeah, 4D is great at that, right? A
yes,
4D game, it maximizes the chances of something memorable like that occurring. Because like talk to a 2D player, right? Ask them like a cool story that they have. It's always a story that is about what is happening in the universe instead of the rules. They're not going to tell
mhm,
you about that time that they took 57 damage from an adult red dragon.
yeah,
They're going to tell about that time where like they snuck into the baron's court and like they assassinated him and got out.
yeah.
That,
Like
in a 4D game, since you're allowed to play your character to that extent and you're allowed to make up new concepts in the universe, it makes it much easier for those memorable moments to occur.
absolutely. I think my favorite moment in a 2D game. Well, first, it's harder to judge because mostly just killing stuff, but probably my favorite is when the uh, the Bone Devil is kind of like my character's rival, like destroyed his village and all that stuff. So once we level up, like level 9 or something, we finally meet him, and we get to kick his ass, and that was awesome. I was fighting a Bone Devil and this giant demon, and this guy with like a fire whip at the same time. And there are these big columns that were getting crushed by the demon and all this stuff. And it was cool because I got my revenge finally. But even if it was kind of like you're on the railroad, but the DM kind of inserts your backstory into it, you know.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
BL Black Lodge Games described it as you're blackmailing the players into caring about your railroad. And I was
That's a
like,
cool way
oh
to
my
put it.
God, that's what they're doing. That's not, everyone says, oh, it's so cool when your story is included in the main story. And at the time it felt cool and all that. Not knocking that experience. But yeah, it's not the same.
I don't think there is an issue for you to start with a bit of a railroad in a 4D game. It's all about the setup, right? If you do a setup, oh, okay, you're gonna play a game where you guys are like firefighters and you're going into a building that is on fire, right? And then you start the
Oh yeah.
game and the guy makes up like a cop character. Says, "Oh, I'm gonna like put a line around the building and I'm gonna like bust this guy that's like trying to get into the building. No, like that's not the game we organized, right?
Yeah, I
The
think people argue about it a lot. They're like, well, a little bit of railroad's fine. I wouldn't even call that railroad. That's just a premise.
it's game setup, yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's semantics, but to me, that's just a
It is
premise.
it is semantics, right? But because railroad has a very like big baggage, like that word has a lot of baggage. I would say that the railroad clause, if you want to call it something crazy like that, is mostly there to help the GM. Because are you really gonna have fun if you just like sit down, write a story like 3 days before the game, then you play out that story in like by the time? Is GMing just smoke and mirrors? The thing why I'm mostly a GM, uh, I'm more of a GM than a player. I've always
Hmm.
thought myself about myself that way.
Hmm.
And playing in 4D is a lot more fun, exactly because I get to explore a story alongside the players. I'm not creating a story and having the players go through it. I am
Yeah,
exploring a story alongside the players. I'm not
so
making
much
a
better.
trail through the forest. I'm letting the players take me, like we're going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
NPCs are the extreme of that, where like we don't even know what setting it's going to be. But even
Hmm.
like if you're playing like a, let's say like your usual like D&D game, where like your adventurers going around, I would totally be okay with players like 4Ding a lot, like most of that game, and I show up with like little preparation.
Hmm.
I ran a game for one of my friends. She was like brand new to playing in a 4D way, and I ran a game where she was like coming back to her village after getting like troublesome letters from her village,
Okay. Yeah.
and I didn't even know what monster it was going to be. I knew her family was like capture,
Yeah.
and I knew there was a mine, and I knew there was like something fishy going on, but I didn't even know what happened to the village. And as time went on, we like slowly like uncovered more and more of the secret of what was happening in that village. She talked to some NPCs in town, um, and by the end, it was two things that had happened in that village. It was a doppelganger and a
Oh, those are
ublex,
good.
which is a slime. Oh yeah, I love doppelgangers. I ran that guy to be really fucking scary.
That's
But that's the
awesome.
thing, though, right? If you hear that you fought in a D&D adventure where like it's one doppelganger and like one slime monster, like oh that's a boring adventure. No, like
No.
the coolest part of the doppelganger is like figuring out who the hell the doppelganger is. You know,
Yes.
uh,
That's a
she
really good monster.
she was
Very.
going around town, and every time she entered a new building, she would like hear sounds of something moving quickly in the distance, kind of like like when a dog like runs after another dog to fight it. She would like
Oh, that's
listen to
good.
it, and she would look around, and she could see something white, like very pale, like moving between buildings, because the doppelganger was pretending that the town was full. He was like eating people in the town, but he was like going between the buildings to pretend to her that there was still a lot of people in town. And that it's such like a visceral scene to me, which is why
That's
she
so
never
good.
got to see any of the like two characters together. She was always only talking to one person in each like building that she went to, and even though there were
Mhm.
people in the houses, it looked like a ghost town. It's like such a cool like scenario to play out.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of that. I kind of did the same thing. I used a no thick. Do you know that monster? It has like one
Yeah,
big eye.
big eye.
Yeah. Yeah. If anyone is anyone watching, I don't know. But anyway, basically, humanoid, kind of skinny thing, sharp teeth, one big eye. Um, I liked using that. I used it for my home group, so it's not recorded. But kind of briefly explained, let's just stay in character, whatever. And they got it like right away. It was awesome. Um, and it was kind of doing the same thing, but I kind of changed its powers. It was like feeding off of people's emotions, and vulnerable people were easier for it to feed off of, so it make, there's this one of the PC's mother is, just like shell shocked from something, and that you hear this pitter pattering in the attic, and you go up there and you almost see something, but maybe it crawls out the window. You see this
Oh,
eye
that's
looking
cool.
at you. And then I also did the kind of doppelganger thing where like they're talking to the town guards, like, did you see anything go on? And the guard is not responding, he's a little off. And like he's like, oh yeah, there'. And then later on towards the end they find out it's kind of insinuated that the Nothic is like shape shifting into all the different guards. Like you never see them at the same time.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it
And like
was awesome.
it's crazy how when you're 4Ding a game like this, you can put in like so many cool details. Like you said, like, oh, this Nothic is actually playing the guards, right? So he's
Hmm.
corrupting the idea of the guards protecting the people. In the
Yeah.
game I ran that I mentioned, one of the cool scenes that happened is that she was like conducting an investigation in her hometown, right? So she went to the burgomeister's office, you know, kind of like the mayor,
Okay.
and they had like this tradition where you had like the paintings for each of the mayors, and you know, if you look like old mayors, like, oh, one of them is even like one of her ancestors. That's pretty cool. And then when she got to the painting of the recent mayor, his I described the painting as being unfinished because his face was just a blob of white paint. And then like when the game ended, I told her that was foreshadowing because you know a
Yeah.
doppelganger is just this pale thing. So when I
Yeah.
said that the painting was unfinished, it was like, oh, just a blob of white paint because he himself can like choose any shape he
Yeah.
wants, and that is how this doppelganger got into the into the town. He was like an
Uh-huh.
adventurer, and like he won a an election to become mayor.
Oh, that's
I said
awesome.
you
That's
can
what's happening in real life. No, probably.
yeah, reptilian
Hmm.
shapeshifters, of course. Like it's really cool. Like after the game, like you sit down with your friends, like, oh, that was some foreshadowing because you managed to
Hmm.
like shoehorn that in because that was both of us adding to it. Because she said that, oh, I look around and like I see a painting. She 4D'd a painting, like, oh, it's a painting of the mayor. And then thought, wait, what if there's one painting for each mayor? And then the latest painting is the one that's like gonna have something cool about it. You know, it was
Hmm.
a very cool like scenario that we built together to have this interesting detail.
I love that. I love that. Let's see. Zonalar, he says, the Nothic is a great creature. Tell me your character's biggest secret so I can reveal it to you. Yeah, because like classically in D&D, it like reads your mind and steals your secrets or something. That would be cool too, to use it that way.
The Nothic is one of those D&D monsters that I actually have a mini for. It's a really cool mini. It's not in
Yeah.
this house, but it's in the other one.
Okay. I really like it. I really like it. It's unfortunate most D&D games it's not going to be used for much probably.
It's going to be used to be a CR1 enemy that gets killed in
Yeah.
3 rounds by a level 1 party.
Yeah. I remember in 2020 is when I started RPGs with D&D and we did the Lost Mines of Phandelver and there's that Nothic in the Red Brand's hideout just chilling there. I'm like, what is this? I was thrown off because I didn't know about how D&D was like so wacky. And I'm like, what is this weird monster doing in a gang hideout? You know? And I think the DM like read off the Nothic's ability for some reason. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But it's not, I guess that won't affect us. We don't really have secrets. We just avoided it.
I'm
Nothing
a
happened.
level 1 elf fighter, GM. What do you mean secrets? Like,
Yeah.
you're not really like role playing. It's interesting that I mentioned like the Nothic not fitting in with D&D because I agree. D&D is like a very weird setting, honestly. Implied setting since most people don't really play in the official settings.
Yeah.
Because it's straight up like a fairy tale. Like there's like this bag of magical beams magic item. Like, oh, you throw a beam and it like you know creates a shoot. It's that's literally just fairy tale logic, you know.
Yeah. Most of the time I want something that's more grounded. But to D&D's credit, yeah, I don't know. It's like you said, it's kind of like a fairy tale or like a dreamland. I'd be fine. Every once in a while I get a craving like I do want to play in a kind of more or less kitchen sink setting because you never know what's going to be around the corner.
It makes sense. That style of play can be very fun. But
Yeah,
you need to like have that in mind, right?
but
D&D never tells you that. It never tells you what kind of like universe it is.
yeah,
You
I
need
had no
to
idea going in.
yeah,
I'm like, what is this?
because everyone hears about like, oh, we're playing like Lord of the Rings. That's like the big one that people use as an example. Kind of like Lord of the Rings. And then you go in and like, oh, there's like this one joke Hobbit character, and then there's like two Dragonborns, like one Tiefling, one like weird type of elf that no one even knows what it is. Like D&D parties are freak shows, man. Like no one plays a human
Yeah,
anymore, you know.
my first character that lasted more than a few hours because we kept dying at first. We were terrible. Um,
That's
was
cool though.
a what did I call him? Delian, a red dragonborn fighter. No characteristics other than that. He swings his great sword around. That's all I did.
It's cool that you died though, because that's like a an interesting thing. Because usually people just no one ever dies in D&D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Starting out, I died probably. I think I died 2 times, like at the very beginning, right away. Like we barely did anything. I died twice, and then I had a character that lasted until level 3. He died from a random encounter owlbear. Oh, it was frustrating.
That is so cool,
it,
man. What the hell?
it
Okay.
wasn't even cool at the time. It would be cool in 4D, but it wasn't cool then because
I get what
half
you mean, yeah.
half of the party was distracted by we had a she's like a dark elf or something that we captured, and she was escaping while we were being attacked. So half of them were preoccupied with her. Meanwhile, I'm the only one in melee with this owlbear just getting absolutely destroyed. No one's helping me, so of course I die.
That's crazy.
I was like, guys, come on. So yeah, I had 2 right at the beginning, a guy at level 3, and then all my 2 other characters from level 3 to level 11 never died. And we played for 3.5 years.
Wow, but was it like in the same adventure that you played for like that long?
Yeah, we did Lost Mine of Fandelver for I don't know, a year or something. We play really slow back then, to be honest. And then the DM kind of made his own setting after that, and we
It's
called
pretty
it
cool.
not Elden Ring, but the Elven Rings. Yeah,
I can already imagine the type of game. But like when you say that you guys played so slow, do you mean that you would like only meet up like once a month, or do you mean that it was a very slow sessions?
it's both. You're
Ooh,
supposed to meet up bi-weekly, but there would be some cancellations, so that would slow it down. And then like we would just have all this talking in circles and things going on, you know. So yeah,
that's pretty rough.
people talk about, oh, you should level up every other session, and I'm like, bro, we took 3.5 years to get from level 1 to 11. I don't I don't know about that.
But that's like the crazy thing though, right? Because the 4D community is more focused on playing more games, but
Hmm.
less sequential games. So you're not going to play a game for like
Yeah.
1 year if you're doing 4D, most likely,
May-
because we're like we're skipping the boring parts. Like that's the best way of like describing 4D. We're skipping all the boring parts, just go straight into what is interesting and like the meat of your character. You can like in 1 to 3 sessions explore a character in a 4D game as much as you would explore another character for like years, because every single moment is like plot relevant, and every single moment you're
oh
actually
yeah,
like role playing it.
bro, one session gives you more character depth than the whole 3-4 year campaign I did.
Oh yeah, I would say so.
Oh
And this
yeah.
is why we're going through games and characters faster, because we're not gonna. I mean, I've already played this character, right? Like I've
I,
already played him for like 3 sessions. Like I don't think I can milk anything else out of him. You know?
yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I do want to see how long I can go though, maybe one of these days I'll do like a year-long thing, not longer than that, but we'll see. You know,
That'd be
if
cool.
the characters run its course, and then that would be enough. But yeah,
Here's how I see it, right? Kind of like the same way the Shauna would say it. Lord of the Rings, like they're big movies. Like there's 3 movies. That's still like 9 hours, right? If you're playing like two
Mhm.
point something hours, you could play through like a Lord of the Rings esque experience in 5 sessions.
Oh yeah, I heard him say that.
It's like a
It blew
month.
my mind. I was like, you could play through all of the Lord of the Rings in 3 sessions.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's how I see it. That is how fast paced of a game you can do if you're doing like movie pacing. I think most of the people don't actually enjoy movie pacing. I ran a few games that are like movie paced in the Crusade, namely the Dark Crusade game I ran,
Mm-hmm.
the Dark Heresy, I mean,
Dark
which is
Heresy.
a Warhammer 40K game. That was a very
Mhm.
fast paced movie. It was paced like a movie indeed, right? So it had
Mhm.
like less time for the characters to grow. It was more about like what was happening in the universe. From what I'm seeing, most of the people here enjoy playing more like a series style of pace. So it's not really like playing through Lord of the Rings.
Episodic.
It's playing through like Game of Thrones, right? I
I
mean, Game of
haven't.
Thrones has a massive runtime.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I guess it's kind of. Would you say it's episodic, like Star Trek,
I don't know. I
or
don't think it
not
is
really?
episodic. Uh,
Okay.
Let me give you an example of the game that Zolar was running, for Mr. Max, Nicholas, and I, and Yekrup, of course. It was a D&D game, and the idea was that we were hunting a Hydra, and that is basically what we did in most episodes. But it was like a monster of the week kind of deal. It was like, oh, we're doing this, we're building
Okay.
towards it, right? This is
Hmm.
why I wouldn't call it episodic necessarily. I don't know if my definition is like even right. I don't know the exact definition of episodic content.
I don't know.
But what I mean is we were building towards one story instead of playing one story each session, basically.
Hmm. Okay. Oh, before I forget, Zonar has some comments. Chicken Bones had such strong character arc in just 3 sessions. And
Oh
then
yeah.
he said, I can come up with cool character concepts faster than I can exhaust my current character. Oh, yeah. I know about that. I can imagine playing one for 2 years, but I always have to pick between current or new PC. Both is fun. Yeah, that's another thing. 40, you get to actually play more characters. You're not stuck with one for 2 years. But
And I
yeah,
mean, now that I think of it, like I think you could play a character for long, but
mhm,
that character would need to be ever changing. I think a good example of this is
mhm,
the Alien movie, and the Aliens movie, like Alien 1 and 2.
totally
Ripley,
different.
yeah, Ripley like is the main character of both, and she completely changes from one movie to the other, right?
Mhm.
Ripley in the first does not have like the more motherly aspect of her explored as in the second movie. You
Yeah,
can tell that it's the same character, but they're exploring a different aspect of that character. And I think you
yeah,
could do very well with that setup. But of course, it's harder to pull it off in a 4D game because it's not planned like a movie, right? You don't have like a script writer.
yeah.
It would be cool to have like one character that you explore different aspects of as you go along. I think that would
I
be a cool
would
way to do it.
I would really like to see that. Um, I don't think it's been done yet. The longest campaign 40 campaign I know of is, what do you call it? The Traveler one with the Horizon. I haven't watched it. I watched like 1 or 2
Me neither,
episodes.
yeah.
I think it's like 12, 16 episodes. But yeah, I would love to see that. That would be really cool.
You'd be cool, yeah.
What about what Zolar was saying?
How about
Chicken bones, or whatever you're gonna say. Go ahead.
no? Let's go with what Zonelander said first. I'll keep this in my mind because I think this is an
Yeah,
interesting topic as well.
yeah. He said he had a strong character arc in just 3 sessions.
Oh yeah, it was crazy, man. It was like a speed run. It's the best way I can put it.
Okay.
Uh, when I introduced Chicken Bones, he believed that the orcish ways could be saved, right? That was like one of the things that I know how in 5e has like ideals, bonds, and flaws, right?
Mm-hmm.
My ideal was to redeem the orcish way of life. That is what it was building towards, right? Then
Yeah, that's cool.
when we first got into the adventure, like I saw how Corn Pup was like dealing with the humans, and my character
Who's
completely changed after that.
who's Corn Pop? I
That's
had some of the
Mr.
games
Max's
on.
character.
Okay, okay. I always have the games in the background, and so, honestly, I play a lot of the games, but I can't focus on some of them when I'm listening.
Of course,
So I
I'm
get
always
the
listening in the
details
background as
mixed
well.
up. Yeah. I was like, who's Corn Pop? Who is this?
It was our leader. It was like an orc ranger. He was like the
Oh,
leader of the
okay.
hunting party, and my character was like trying to buddy up to him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like the big moment for Chicken Bones was when he was made to kill the child.
Yeah, that
And
was
like
cool.
after he did it, there was like an interesting like dynamic between him and Corn Pop because he was more accepted now, and he liked
Hmm.
that. He liked like belonging because he was a half orc, so he wasn't really
He didn't belong anywhere, right?
he didn't belong anywhere exactly, and feeling some
Yeah.
of that belonging was great. And then the Hydra showed up, and Corn Pop just instantly died, and the Goblin betrayed York, right? And my character kind of like pieced that together.
Hmm.
And by the end, he was like, "Man, I don't think there is a future to this orcish way of life." Like he got like a little taste of belonging. I was like, "Wow, yeah, we're just gonna die if it works like that." So the game ended with him just leaving and like going off into the sunset by himself,
Yeah.
much like Nicholas, the character of Nicholas as well.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. And it makes me think a criticism of like people say you need a railroad because you need a plot, and that they'll criticize Sandbox or whatever as there's no meaning in anything because there's no plot. That was incredibly meaningful.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people would complain like, "Oh, the leader of the party just got killed in the first round of combat," and then
Yeah,
even
that's where
worse,
the meaning comes from. Yes.
and even worse, he got betrayed by one of the player characters and killed off screen. That's basically what happened.
Mm.
Um a lot of people would complain, but the story that we remember is so much cooler because of it, and that is what you take from RPG games. You're not going to remember like your character sheet, like you may save it and like look at it, but that's not what actually is meaningful. What is meaningful is like what happened in the universe, right? And
Mhm.
you can make the story a lot better, a lot more meaningful, and a lot more interesting to explore if you're playing in a 4D way, because you're not just following a railroad. You're not just preparing a whole story to tell your players. You're seeing it grow in front of you. Because I can tell you, Zonalar didn't plan for any of that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure. By the way, Zonar, if you want to type out one of your favorite like RPG moments or role play moments, you can. Uh, might be a lot to type out a chat, so understandable if you don't.
What I was going to say is, I was thinking of this while we were talking about a game where you explore different aspects of a character. What do you think of
Mhm.
having another session zero? Like you play through 4 sessions, have like a little bit of a mini arc, and then you
Mhm.
continue that game. Everyone gets into a session zero and say, okay, do we want to continue that game? If we do, like where do we want to take it? Right? We're not like planning the game, but we're just like reseeding the ideas that we had in session zero. Because in session zero, we do seed a lot of ideas, right? We do prepare a little bit of how the story is going to go. How
That
about we have another session zero and set up the next like episode of the game? What do you think of that?
I think that's perfect. Well, I think that's that's the natural way to do that. To have that character grow over time and be like a different aspect of the character explored. Yeah, that's the perfect way to do it. The only thing is if the characters aren't like, what if the characters aren't going on to their next arcs at the same time? You know, if they all
That's why the first
switch at the same time, then it works out. But
that's why the first question I posited in that is that should we have another, right? Like we're not just discussing what
okay,
will
yeah, yeah.
happen next. We're talking, can't we just cut it here? Because I think I would want to
You know
cut
what?
Chicken Bones' story right there, right? Unless we have like a cool idea of where else he could go. And this is like the same idea of Alien and Aliens with like Ripley, right? Like, oh yeah, Ripley in
Yeah.
the first movie was pretty cool. But now, like, we're gonna have another session 0. Like, oh, what if like we, because Ripley, it was detailed that Ripley had a daughter and she was like doing like a deep space mission. So like time is passing faster for her. So like she's gonna see her daughter, and like her daughter's gonna be very old by the time she gets to meet her again, right? That was like one of the details in the first movie. But in the second movie, they turned that little detail. It's like a whole new arc that they can explore, and that is what I want out of an RPG, right? Maybe
Yeah.
we get like a secondary comment, like I think Chicken Bones mentioned his mother, right? What if we have like another session 0 where we plan out this other story where Chicken Bones goes into like a human village, he looks for like other characters that could be the other players, and then he tries to like save his mother off of like the Orcish tribe, right? Because she's still like a slave there. That'd be pretty interesting as well.
Absolutely.
I think that's how you could do like a longer term campaign, and that's the thing though, right? What if Nicholas says, "Oh, my goblin ended there. I don't think my goblin would participate in the second game. That was his arc. I'm gonna make a new character for this game." That's awesome as well.
Yes. And you know what? I was thinking, even if someone's in the middle of their arc, I don't think having another session 0 would be a problem, you know. I think those sessions will probably be faster anyway, because you've at least got the basis already going.
Oh yeah,
And,
that's a good point.
even if you don't have anything to contribute in that session 0 for your character at the moment, because they're still doing their own thing, it would still be fun to be there and to contribute to the ideas for the other character that's changing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. I think what you said.
So you could have like just checkpoints, you know. It's like, hey, I want to have a quick session 0. It could be like 1 hour. That's all you need.
I want to try that now. This is why it's so cool. Like, I think that 4D is like a new frontier for RPGs. So every time we have a new idea, like we're breaking ground. Man, I really want to try it now. You know, want to have like a short campaign. Like we play 4 sessions, then we run another session 0, and then we see if we want to continue it. And if we do, like we plan out like another aspect of the characters. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, I guess
I really want to do it.
I think that's kind of what I'm doing with Mithras, because Adept and I played a module, completed it, and then we started a second module or adventure, whatever you call it, and I'm using the same character, kind of picking up where I was. So I think we had another.
Oh, that's cool. So you decided to play this other module with the same character.
Yeah, it's the same character. So we didn't have that much of a session 0. Kind of did character creation and talked about it a little bit,
right?
But it's kind of taking my character a different direction.
You know, I kind of want to invent a new term, because I don't like the term session 0. There's a lot of baggage to it. You know, a lot of people abuse the term session 0. You know, if you go anywhere like in Reddit, it's like, oh, did you have a session 0? Like they don't even know what they're fucking talking about.
Oh yeah.
I think like game setup might be a better example of it, because what you did was game setup, but you're not eager to call it a session 0 because, you know, it's not a session 0, quote unquote, because they think of the session 0 as like a formal thing, like, oh, we prepare a session 0 and we go play as if it were a session. No, session 0 is a conversation, like you're conversating with your players.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Game setup. And then the other ones, what would you call those? I like checkpoint. Call them checkpoints.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I like that. I do, Zenlar, if you're still here, I would love to hear your opinions on like setting up like a checkpoint, like David just coined the term, between like these like different arcs of the campaign, because I think that'd be a pretty cool idea. I do want to like get a sanity check on that, because it can feel like you're setting up a story, and that's not how 4D is played, right? We don't set up stories in 4D and then play through them. We do set up the stories. What I mean is we don't plan them ahead, right? We don't know, like it will be incorrect to say, okay, Chicken Bones ran into the sunset now. Now he's gonna go and he's gonna find a village, he's gonna save his mother, he's gonna get the love of his life, right? We don't plan like that. It'll be more like, okay, what does Chicken Bones want to do now? And then the GM, we bounce ideas off one another. It's like an idea session, not really a scripting session. We're not like scripting the next episode, I guess.
Well, until he does comment on that, he does have some other ones. My favorite roleplay moment was when Chicken Bones was confronted to slay the human child and confirm his Orcish allegiance. The second favorite is Corn Pop taking a piss.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment, and the players were so good in that. The GM was so good. Yeah, everything aligned perfectly. It was like all like building up to that moment. But one thing that I wanted to say, when I said that the players were very good at that, I don't mean like myself. Uh, Mr. Max did a lot of the setup for that scene. It was mostly like his scene in a way. Uh, it was his scene of testing my character, like really, it really like put me into like the spotlight for that moment. But all the other players, even their subtle contributions were so good. Like if you watch the VOD, what really gave that moment gravitas was every single character stopped what they were doing just to look at me. That was a big moment, right?
Yeah. Very
And
nice.
even just describing that, like, oh, I pause my drink and I stare at what is happening. Like that adds so much
That
gravitas.
yeah, you're adding so much social implications, story implications just by doing that. Okay, looks like Zonewar has comments.
Feel free to
Excuse me.
drop your comment as well, brother, because I'm sure you have thoughts about what I said.
Wait, what'd you say?
About the thing that I asked Zonar, I'm asking you as well. I don't want to make it look like I'm just asking Zonar.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see what he said. He said, all I think about is what story arcs are currently developing. I don't see them as one chapter at a time. It's like multiple strings weaving together like a rope. One ends, another begun halfway. Okay. Multiple of them make the campaign strong. That's how you can have forever campaigns. That's an insightful way to think about it.
Yeah, there's no easy way to, let's say, it ends here and starts there, right? It's like one of the limitations
Yeah.
of a movie. A movie is produced like a whole production. You make the first Alien movie and then the second. That is not how a D&D campaign goes. So he is right in that
Yeah.
regard. Uh,
It's more, it could
I
be
think it would
more
be hard
organic.
for you to trail that path endlessly as a player, though. I don't know. I think having a checkpoint would be a good idea.
Yeah. You could decide how long you want to do it. You could go multiple. Eventually, you'll want to be done with that character.
Because yeah, we're not planning the stories right, but when the Lich's Drags ended, it felt like that was the right point to end it. It didn't feel like forced.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I don't really have anything else to say about that. I agree.
I mean, there's a lot of other open questions. There's the question of the Lich giving a message to Karn Pop after he died, or while he was dying, I guess. There was a question of like the orcish like leader like losing power. There was like the uncle of Corn Pop that was helping him and like taking power over the orcs as well. He
Hmm.
is right. There are like different like trails that were going down, but even then, you can feel like the story ended there. I think that just jumping right into like another session in that campaign, it could work, but I think it would be even better if we did take the time to like discuss what our next plans are as well. Set up the game again.
Yeah, absolutely. I would.
But then again, I should probably test this out. It's not like we like the scientific method here. Like, yeah, that's a cool idea. Let's test it, see how good it goes. Post it online so people can criticize it. That is one of the coolest parts of 4D games. We actually like
Mhm.
helping one another. We're not like discussing to be right or to be wrong. We're helping one another improve.
Yeah. Every session you play, you're hopefully getting a little bit better, or you do something that's worse and you realize, oh, that's worse, and you don't do it. You're learning every time. I think of it of my transition to 4D kind of like Tiger Woods, because he had his career going where he was like the best, and then after a while he decides he wants to change his swing and just completely change his style, and he gets worse and worse for a while, and then he starts getting better and better, and then he's better than he was before.
That's the
So
golf guy, right? Sorry,
yeah,
I
yeah,
know very little of sports.
it doesn't even matter what just a sports guy. Yeah. um it's funny because when I was just playing 2D, D&D, eventually I, start thinking I'm a pretty good dungeon master, I think, you know. And then I start getting into this stuff, and I realize in the past 3, 4 years, I've run 50 games. Maybe like 2 or 3 of them were good.
Dude, I've hit the
And
same.
I've just like brought low. I'm like feeling, oh, am I ever gonna be good now? I don't know. And then I'm just watching videos, discussing, trying to improve as much as I can. And then finally, I feel like I'm better. I'm like,
That's the thing that's fun. I'm a bit cocky, right? When I say that, I'm a forever GM. That's like by my own design. I was like the one in my friend group, like I'm the better GM here, so I might just as well just run. I enjoy running as well, right?
mm-hmm,
I still am pretty cocky. That's just part of my personality, I guess. But I said I'm a good GM, man. And
mm-hmm,
when I started playing 4D, like, damn, I'm a horrible fucking GM. Like, I really
mm-hmm,
need to relearn this, right? Uh, but that's the thing, though, right? A lot of the skills that you pick up as a 2D GM can be converted over to 4D. It's not like starting like brand new, right? Like you said, like Tiger Woods, like sure he got like a different like bat or whatever. I don't know anything about golf, but he already had the commitment to the sport, right? Which is the
mm-hmm,
same for us. We're both committed to tabletop RPGs. He had the commitment. He already had some skills that he could convert over, right? Some of the things that 4D and 2D GMs do can be pretty similar. I mean, like I said, I was simulating a world even when I was playing in 2D, and knowing how to simulate a world is a good skill for a 4D GM to have as well. And
mm-hmm.
that's how I got like cool moments even before playing in 4D. Like I was simulating like the bandits not just being like stacks of HP; they're actual humans in this universe that we're playing around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can convert these skills around, right? It wasn't as awful as it was as I thought it would be, at least. Starting brand new as a GM.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is. I'm like, yeah, damn. How did I play that like that for so long?
It's
It
really
didn't.
humbling. You're like,
It is, yeah.
for me, it's like, oh, all that preaching I was doing about sandbox, none of it mattered. I wasn't good anyway.
Exactly.
But you don't know what you don't know until you know it.
It's the three
And then,
magic words. Role play solves everything.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, dude, this notification popped up on my Discord. Um, I got a riddle for you. How did the Burger King get the Dairy Queen pregnant?
I have no idea.
Forgot to wrap his Whopper.
Oh, come on, dude.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, yeah. Now we need a third fast food slop chain. Something Prince to be their son.
Oh, yes, I guess.
I don't even know what the Dairy Queen is. There isn't one here where I live.
Oh, yeah, it's just fast food burgers and ice cream.
Really? Dairy Queen and you sell burgers. That's strange. Well, I guess
Mm-hmm.
milk is a dairy product. Cheese is a dairy product.
Mm-hmm. Wendy's does that too. Ice cream, burgers, or
I've
lots
had
of
Burger
places
King,
have
but I've never
chains.
had Wendy's or the other one. They're not a thing down here, I think.
They're mostly kind of trash.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Fast food is very
you're not
different
missing
in
out.
Brazil.
Oh, yeah, I would love to know more about Brazil. What's
Just
I
in
don't know.
general,
I guess anything. What's your favorite kind of food there, or just anything?
churrasco. That's barbecue. Man, if you want to get good
Wait,
Brazilian food, go to a Brazilian barbecue place. I
wait.
swear you get
How
hooked
did
up
you spell
immediately.
that?
Churrasco. I'll type it.
Oh, okay.
I'll DM it to you on Discord. No, but I've always told my friends that want to experience something like that to go to a Brazilian barbecue place, and man, they always complain to me like, "Damn it, Conway, I want to go there every week now."
That's funny. I've been to a Brazilian steakhouse. I don't know if you call that barbecue or not. I guess It's really
I,
good.
I think it's the same thing, right? Brazilian steakhouse. Is it the one where you pay just to enter, and then they keep bringing meat to you, like
Yeah.
all you can eat? That's what I'm
Yep.
fucking talking about.
Chama Gaucha. Yes. Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, it's
Man,
really good.
yeah, and the word is this. That's what we call it down here
It's,
in the South. We're the true Southerners, by the way.
oh yeah. Yeah, you got us beat on that one. Churrasco. Or did you? How did you pronounce it?
Churrasco.
You don't say the O that much.
I guess not. Churrasco. That's how people usually say it. I have
Oh,
the default Brazilian accent. I'm from São
the
Paulo.
default.
You know, it's kind of like in the US, you have like the default US accent, which is kind of like a.
Uh,
I've heard it said. I've heard it say before that it's a Floridian accent. It's like how people in Florida speak. That's
oh,
what
really?
it's what people say in the TV, the news anchors.
Oh. I don't know if that's a default. I feel like I've got a default American accent, no flavor to it. But
I would say that as well.
thanks. But sometimes a little southern comes out. Like I'll say all instead of oil or something, or it's a bar
Right.
instead of a bear or something like that. Just
Portuguese has some very wacky accents to it.
it
Just like very close to where I live, just a little bit north, is Rio de Janeiro, which is like the place everyone knows. And people there speak almost like a French influenced Portuguese, which is super crazy because
oh
they roll their R's. It's
mhm.
very interesting to listen to. And then if
But
you keep going north, man, I don't even know what they're saying. It has been the case before that I asked someone to like to speak a little bit slower for me to understand them.
oh wow.
Because if they're from the northwest, it's very difficult.
But you don't roll your R's.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Churrasco. If I'm saying something in a Rio de Janeiro accent, it might be churrasco, churrasco. Like you roll the R a little bit.
Okay. To me, and I don't know which variation of it I've heard, but to me, Portuguese sounds like Spanish and French mashed together.
That is not too wrong. That's how, in a way, how Portuguese was formed. It was a mix of Galician, Spanish, and French. Not French. It was Provençal French. Provençal it's a dead language. The French basically genocided the Provençal language. It was
Ah,
that bit between France, that bit between Italy and Spain of France, like southern France. They used to speak Provençal there, which
mhm.
is very similar to Portuguese. I can listen to Provençal songs and understand what they mean
Oh, okay.
because and Portuguese kind of evolved a little to look like that language because of the bards that were there. Like bards made famous songs in the Provençal
Uh-huh.
language, and they changed the way Portuguese was like. What is the name of the book? They're not called bards. They're like a specific like name.
It's like a
I'm gonna. I need to find this now. Hang on.
yeah. I'm not sure what that would be called. I'm thinking like a troubadour or a mariachi, but that's not.
Troubadour. That's what they're called.
Oh, okay.
Troubadours were Troubadours were are a big part of like uh, Portuguese culture. French bards
Oh,
like
okay.
traveling around and like making stories. It's really cool.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Maybe one of these days I'll go to Brazil. We'll see. It's not really in the cards right now, but I've got a buddy that's from there, so maybe I'll go with him. We'll see. We'll see.
It's a cool place to go to the beach. That's basically it.
You said a cool place and cool beaches. Is that what you said?
A cool place to go to the beach.
Oh yeah, yeah. Zonalar. The last 14 months of playing 4D roleplay has been just more fun than the 10 years of normal roleplay, no matter how cool the friends were or how creative they are. Man, because of the rules talk, constant chatter, looking up memes on the phone, and being unfocused, I wanted more from the game, and people wouldn't get why. Wouldn't get me why. That's frustrating, man. You
Yeah,
can't
this
make people play your way, but it's frustrating when it's like, I'm pretty sure you would like this if you just tried it.
yeah, this friend of mine, I told her like when I play, we don't talk in like out of character. She was like, "No,
Mhm.
you can't do that. Like, let me run a session for you. Like, I'll show you. You can totally do it." And she was like a natural. She just immediately understood it and played
Yeah,
perfectly.
because playing in characters, it's like the natural state of make believe. It's
It
a
is,
natural
yeah.
state of play. When you play like a little kid, that's what you're doing. Everyone knows how to do it, but they forget.
And even when you're an adult, like you're reading a book, like the book author doesn't like pause the book. Oh, in this scene, the character's thinking that. Oh, but he wants to do that. No, no. You just read the book.
I've had
Uh,
that same thought. It's like, look,
a 4D session is like a playing through a book, and each of the players
mhm,
is adding like a new paragraph down the line.
yeah. Uh, it even works in play by post. It's I'm in a couple. Well, one ended, but a couple play by post games that are 4D, and it's actually works. It's still not my favorite way to do it because we're keeping our turns short and everything, which is great. But it'll be like 3 months later, and we haven't gone on the adventure yet,
Oh, is this the one that Phil
which is
joined? I
fine.
think I think you I think you put a post for it on the 4D Crusade thing,
That
Discord.
was one of them. That one finished, yeah. Well, it didn't really finish. We kind of disbanded because it people had to do other stuff, I guess.
Called it
Stuff was
off. Yeah.
coming up. Yeah. But yeah, Elias says Zonalar is a meme hater. Heard it here for you heard it here, folks. Zonalar meme hater. Everyone sends Zonalar memes. Um
Yep.
yeah. I don't remember what we were talking about before play by post. Oh yeah, it's the natural state of play.
I would say that it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think anyone not some people aren't going to get role play. It's not for them. They're not interested in it. That's fine. But like I think anyone should be able to get it. I guess some people won't, but 99%.
I don't think our roleplay is for everyone, and that's fine because not every hobby is for everyone.
Yeah. The way I say it is it's for anyone but not everyone.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. I would totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would argue that most of so there's like two tiers of people that play RPGs. Uh, there's the people that are really involved in the hobby, and those are the people like in Reddit. And they're like posting stuff and they're reading rule books and they're trying to get the group to play another game. And then the other tier of person is just the people that are there just to be with friends.
Yeah.
And I think that for one of the good things of 4D is that we're all concentrated players of the first like tier. We enjoy the hobby and want to like pursue it further and grow it.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is that if you don't have any like gatekeeping, you're gonna get people that are just there like to eat Cheetos and like roll dice with their friends. They don't care about the game whatsoever.
Yeah.
Do those people like are they is it the right place to play a 4D game with them? Because you can still
No.
play a war game and have fun, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to force a role playing aspect into it. I mean, playing a board game is great fun. I love playing board games. What I don't want is a middle, like a weird, like middle of the road abomination.
Yeah.
It's like a mix of both. Like we pretend to role play and then we pretend to play a board game. It's not even a real board game because like if we die, the GM's gonna pull his punches. Like
Yeah.
that's what I dislike.
Just sucks at both. That's what I was gonna say. That's what 5e is, but that's what all role playing is these days.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, don't do it half-assed. Go in the
Yeah,
full ass.
put your full ass in there. But yeah, I agree. If you want to role play all the way. If you want a war game or puzzle or whatever or dungeon crawl, do that. I'm not into that, but if you want to do that, go ahead. But don't try and mix the two and make both of them terrible. It's like
Definitely, yeah.
have you ever seen King of the Hill?
That's the cartoon of like the propane guy, right?
Yes.
I know it through cultural osmosis only.
I know lots of people that sound like those characters living in Texas. But it's like there's this one episode where there's this rock band. Well, they're like a Christian rock band, and Hank goes, "You're not you're not making Christianity cooler. You're making rock and roll worse." It's like
That's
that.
that's cool.
It's like don't do the war game or the role play. Don't make it worse.
But
Not to
it's
say
funny.
that you can't have tactics in role play, but
That's
don't
part of role playing.
compromise. Yeah,
That's the
don't
thing, though, right?
compromise the role play.
Having tactics into your game is limiting yourself because you can have tactics if it makes sense for your character to be tactical. If you're playing like a retired marine, then yeah, you're gonna have those close quarter combat tactics, and your character's gonna play intelligently.
Yeah.
But if
I
not, then you can play a character who just panics in the middle of a fight. Like he just like covers his head and keeps looking down the whole fight. That's like a cool thing to role play as well.
yes, I like when the tactics or the rules for tactical things represent stuff that's actually happening, not an ethereal power you get at level 5. That's like you're doing the same thing you were before, but there's an extra d6 now.
Definitely, yeah.
It's not necessarily bad, I guess, but I prefer it when it's you want to you want to impale the guy with your spear. You use the impale special effect rule. There you go.
Oh, there's a lot of chat messages. That's some pretty funny ones.
Elias, non-role players hate the character that hides in fear during combat. That's a trigger for them. Yeah, you hear that all the time.
It's because they're non-role
don't play a
players.
coward. Yeah, absolutely. Hit the nail on the head.
They're not there to role play. They're there for something entirely different. They're there to like beat the GM's challenges. And even then, is it even a GM challenge? Because in a lot of these games, like the GM will just pull punches and he won't die. Like,
Yeah.
what are you even doing, man? Oh my god, it frustrates me to no end. These people are like, "Oh, you're just larpers. We play a real game here." Then you go watch the game they play, and the GM is like rolling like behind the behind the GM screen.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, the monster missed you again. Oh, he missed you one more time." Is
Oh, yeah.
the monster hit him like 3 times in a row because he was. And then when he got like low HP, like the monster misses and he misses again. Oh, that's a critical miss. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. It's retarded, dude. It's like not only is there no role play, there's no game. It's like you go to hang out with your friends. It's like, come on, guys, we're 25, 30-year-old grown-ass men. What are we doing here? Making up the dice rolls. We're not even. It's okay if my pretend character dies. I promise it'll be okay.
This is why I think that like when you play it and like your characters died a couple of times, that's pretty cool. That means like you're actually playing a game, and you can have fun playing a game like that. I would probably try to like call it like a war game, not really a role playing game, but still. It's funny how angry people get when they say, "Oh, you're not playing a role playing game." They get like really frustrated and angry for some reason. Like I'm not saying that what you're doing is worse. I'm just saying that you're doing something different than what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
They think it's a qualitative judgment of their game, when it's just me trying to like figure out what they're doing.
Exactly. And it's so strange because they'll like profess what their ideals are. This, every video they upload is about tactics and character options and stuff. And I don't know. I'm like, you're the one that's talking about it. I'm just saying you're doing tactical stuff, or war game stuff rather. I don't know.
Yeah, so let's answer what Zonalar has asked of us. He did a 3-hour stream. I did check out that stream. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah,
I didn't expect LSG Dean to look like that. But
Viking man.
Yeah. So why? Yeah. So his question is, why do you play role playing games?
Why do I play role playing games? I really enjoy pretending to be someone else, feeling like I am that guy in that world, going out and doing cool stuff. I think that's
Perfect. It. Yeah. And you don't need anything else than that. I feel the same way. I feel like humans are like I said, humans are storytelling animals. It's a phrase by a psychologist. We're like geared, we're almost evolved towards language and towards like telling stories to one another, like around campfires, right? And because of that, it is just so fulfilling for you to explore a scenario like that in your head with someone else. Not even with someone else, you can solo roleplay, but doing that is very fulfilling. And the coolest thing about that ties in with another interesting concept, which is there's another phrase called the only thing worth writing about is the human soul in conflict with itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like what I like about that as well. I like playing characters that are in conflict with themselves, and I basically get to explore how it is to be that character for a little while. I'll never, I don't think I'll ever be like a 5-star general, like commanding soldiers, but I can play a character like that. I can tear off my skin and wear 1,000 different skins. I can live 1,000 lives at once, right? And that's so cool. That's why RPGs are like my ever hobby, because when we play 4D, the limit truly is your imagination. You will get to to walk 1,000 steps in a different shoe each time. Like, and it even like helps you learn about humanity in a way.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. That's a really good way to put it. I think the way you put it is how we would put it on the 4D commercial. Me, I'm just always straightforward,
I think we both do the same thing. And the important thing here is that you can only achieve this. And this is why I think this is important to talk about. We can only achieve this through roleplay. You can't really achieve this through a war game, a board game, most video games. You should play, like, whatever it is that you're doing, play to the strength of what you're doing, right? If you're playing a war game, don't add random moments of role play into it. Just play into the war game. That can be fun.
Yeah.
Same thing for a role playing game. If you're playing a role playing game, role play. Lean into the strength of the medium. And role playing games are the only medium where you can do this.
Absolutely. That's the one thing that role-playing games have over other mediums is the role play. If you're doing anything else, you might as well do something else. You might as well play a video game. It does it better. Might as well watch a movie. It does it better. But if you're actually role-playing, then this is the one hobby where you can really do that until they invent a holodeck.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool. If it ever happens.
I've been thinking holodeck gaming might be a really cool name for a game company if I do that, but I don't know if it's probably trademark. Yeah. Or maybe something inspired by Total Recall. I haven't seen that movie, but I just heard about it today. I have to watch that.
I think Chandra would consider that a sin, unfortunately. You gotta go watch Total Recall.
He would probably have a lot of homework for me. Yeah. I wish I could just.
Connor had a hyperfixation with that movie. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, okay. Someone said he watched The Fifth Element every day, multiple times a day. I don't know if that's true.
I think it was Total Recall. I don't think it was Fifth Element.
Oh,
I might be wrong though. I think there were a lot of movies they had a fixation with. He really liked movies. It was like what he
he
fell
loved
back
movies.
into
Yeah.
when talking about RPGs. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a really good tool to have, good way to think about it. Again, I know sometimes I hear movie terms and I'm like, no. I hear cinematic, I'm like, no, not cinematic. Because we're not trying to artificially make something. But when Shauna would say, think of a movie, do they ever do it this way or do they do it this way? It's really smart to think of it that way.
That's a great point. Someone that is not like involved in the media might think that we're talking like in that regard. And that is exactly what we don't want. Like if you're saying like, and now we cut to this other scene where two people are at a tavern, like, oh my god, it would kill me to listen to that. That is a GM saying,
Oh, yeah.
hey, retard, you're not just you're not your character. We're like playing together. Now I'm changing the scene. It's like yanking you out of the immersive moment, right?
Yeah.
I play for.
Go ahead.
No, you go first.
I've even heard people say like, "Oh, the camera pans this way." I'm like, "Shut up, dude! Shut up! There's no camera. Damn it!"
When I joined the Crusade, right, I immediately disliked like the terminology of like 3D, 4D. I still do. I like calling it immersive gaming because I think people get that more easily. Like immersion. I'm kind of like talking about immersion in the sense like immersive learning of a new language. That is like considered to be like the best way to learn a new language is when you immerse yourself in the medium of that language. You just live only using that language, right? I'm learning German, so all of my devices are in German. I'm gonna watch German YouTube videos. If possible, I'll go to Germany. I'll talk to Germans there, right? That's like the best way to learn a language. It is that type of immersion that I want in my role-playing game. If I want to open that door, I don't ask the GM. I need to immerse myself in the world and only act within the world. Yeah. So instead of saying, GM, can I open the door? I lean forward, put my hand on the handle and turn it, right? It's immersive roleplay.
I will say, as for the 1 through 4D terminology, I will say it's really useful. It's
Very
made
useful,
our conversation tonight really easy because we keep referring to them and just, But I like immersive too. I think that's what Black Lodge Games uses, immersive role play.
Really?
Yeah, immersive role playing. They don't really mention it every single video, but
I like that. I thought I came up with that. Maybe I didn't. I don't know.
Maybe they stole it from you. I don't know, but I like that for the reasons you said. One thing I think about it is I think I might call it like in-character role play if I were to make it up. Because for me, immersion is what you want, but it's like the end result. It's like the good thing that you get. Whereas being in character is the thing that you're doing. And some people might wonder how you get to immersion. And they'll think like, oh, it's paragraphs of description. That's how you get immersed. Not knocking
That's interesting.
immersive role play as a term, but that's just my thoughts.
No, I think you should.
One
of the good things in the Crusade is that we like disagreeing, and I mean, if you're right, then you're right. Yeah. I think that if you say in character role play, people might get a different idea of it because they say, yeah, we role play in character. It's kind of like the thing, we only play in character, and most people are like, oh yeah, we only play in character, and then you go watch their game, and they're like, 2 hours of making jokes and then like 10 minutes of role play.
Yeah.
It's incredible how common it is. We say, oh, we only play in character. And every single other person's like, yeah, we do that. And then you go watch their game and it's just not true. I think it's because I have this theory that the reason why your brain will actually block out boring moments of what is happening around you because you shouldn't remember everything. In fact, people that like, remember truly everything have like they have like a different brain structure, right?
Oh,
There's
I
like
wish I
studies
was
done on
one of
this.
those people, man.
Yeah, but your brain is made so that you only remember what is relevant information. And I wonder if
Mhm.
they block out all of this irrelevant stuff, and then in their memory, they only remember the in-character bits that are actually interesting. You know,
Yeah,
that's like my theory as to why they say that.
yeah, that's pretty much what I remember from
Let me tell you,
my
if
old
your
days of role
hobby,
playing.
yeah, if your hobby makes you block out like 90% of the playtime, and it's not a good fucking hobby.
Ah, you better preach, Conway. Ah, that's funny. It's like I
But
don't want to tell people they're trash, but then sometimes I'm like, 90% of what you're doing is trash. Sorry. Ah, it's funny. But we were there before, you know. We were doing the same thing until
exactly
we
right. You have to
and
swallow your pride.
for years I knew something was missing. I was like, how can I make role play better? And I was looking up all the videos, ingesting all kinds of terrible advice, but I was taking in as much as I can because I knew something was missing. I was writing my own RPGs, but they were just D&D clones that were terrible. I
It's
was doing
crazy that we
everything.
parallel each other in that way. I always felt like something was
Mm.
wrong. There was something missing in my games. And I've
Nicholas
said
said the
this
same
multiple
thing
times.
on a Zonalar stream. He's like, "Oh yeah, me too. I felt like something was missing. Finally found it. Um, it didn't take at first because it was Shauner. I may have mentioned this to you. I don't know. I've said it a few
I have
times,
not. I would love
but
to hear.
I was watching the video where he was criticizing people for saying "you." Don't say "you see," "you smell," and I'm like, he's like, "You're role playing the character for them," and I was like, "That's not role playing the character for them. That's just describing the scene," and I was getting all mad and stuff, and he said, "Well, you're not really interested in role playing, are you?" I'm like, "What?" I got all mad
You
and
got
unsubbed.
Shaunered.
I got Shaunered.
That's
I
a rite of
unsubbed.
passage. Yeah.
Mm,
I met Shauner through more friendly means.
mm,
I think I stumbled into one of his videos through like a random algorithm poll, which is like probably the best poll that YouTube ever did for me. But uh, it was like a small video, had like 50 views. I clicked on it,
uh-huh.
and then I went to the comments. There were like 70 comments on that video, more comments than views. And
That's a
one of
good
the comments
video.
had like 50 replies. There's this Shauner like
Ooh,
uh Shauner and a guy like arguing, and I just had
ooh,
to figure out what is going on here.
that's crazy. He doesn't usually like to comment.
Yeah,
He likes to make
but
videos more.
maybe it wasn't a Shauner video. Maybe it was like a different video because he does go to other videos to like argue with people.
Uh-huh.
I click on his channel because I had to figure out this rabbit hole here. I click on his channel and like the first video I click on, like, wait, this is a weird video. This is just a collage of different like RPG people. What is going on here? It was one of his
Mm.
intros, like a 20
I
minute
was
long
so
intro.
confused by the intro, dude. Like, what the hell?
It's like a 40-minute long video, and like 20 minutes of it is just the intro. So I
Mhm.
watched through the intro and I realized, oh, okay, so this is when the guy starts speaking. I'm like, what is this guy saying? What do you mean? Like, I'm not role playing for my players. And then
Mhm.
like I watched another video and then another. Like, okay, this is interesting. I've never heard someone play like
Yeah.
that.
I knew something was there even when I didn't understand it
Yeah,
at
because
first.
one good thing about Shauner, he was very aggressive in his arguing for 4D,
Yeah.
and he's the reason why a lot of people are playing like that right now. He wasn't shy of like going down in the mud and wrestling the pig.
Yeah. It's funny because that's the only thing you see at first. And, with a bit of after being in 4D for a while, I look at some of his videos and I see him like he pauses the video he's reacting to and he's silent for a second. He's like, and I'm like, oh, he was actually holding back. He's trying to be nice to some people.
He was, yeah.
He was. He really was trying to be kind. It's funny. It's so funny. But it takes all kinds, I think. I'm glad he would not shy away from role playing. He wouldn't shy away from saying what he needed to say, because some people only learn that way, and then others will only learn from something else. You know,
Exactly.
sometimes it needs to be a bit softer.
Yeah, thankfully we have a lot of good content producers. Like the community we have is small, but it punches above its weight when it comes to content production, thankfully. And I mean,
Mhm.
a lot of the culture here is very much like geared towards content production in a way.
Yeah, I'm so glad that that was another thing Shauner was about. He's like, stop commenting, just make a video. I'm like, what? Why? He doesn't listen to people that don't make videos? What? But it changed the way I think about YouTube. It was entertainment before, and now it's kind of like a forum. It's like you have an idea, you make a video, and you talk about it.
And it's because it's also more productive, right? You can always go back and listen to a video, but it's difficult to dig through like tons of different comments and like finding exactly what
Yeah,
you're looking for.
yeah,
This is why I told you, like, oh, just start the stream. If it's a bad stream, then it's a learning experience, you know.
yeah, absolutely. You can talk about so much more. Uh, get into the nitty gritty if you want. Whereas comments, it's like, okay, we're not getting anywhere. And some of those genre streams, I'll still go back on them. I'm still, he's got like 1,000, you know,
There is
still
a
going
treasure
through them.
trove of stuff out there, yeah, still waiting to be found.
Yeah. And the stuff, some of the older Crispy videos where he's still getting into 4D himself at that point, and he's making like progress videos. Those are really valuable. And then the slideshow videos that Mr. Max does, really good,
Yeah,
really
the
good.
slideshow video is a funny way to put it. Mr. Max does
Yeah.
well with a lot of challenges. Like the NPC challenge is very interesting to get into.
Mm, yeah, I love that. Um, I still don't know if I'm good at GMing the UNPC challenge. I've only done it a couple times, so we'll see. But I love it.
Well, you gotta join more of them. I don't think I can play this one, but I'll definitely be the next one.
Okay. I yeah, I probably said it a few times on Discord. I've got some life stuff to do, but I think it's gonna be wrapping up soon, so I can join more games and do more streams and stuff.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell
Uh,
yeah!
you've been talking a lot about Mithras. So how has been your experience with 4D Mithras now?
Oh, dude, I love it. Um, the so we've done the last session we did number 3. We had a bit of combat, and I was struggling to remember how to do it. I'm like, okay, I say what I'm gonna do first, and I roll my percentile, like I roll my skill, and I'm like, okay, I'll roll the hit location and the damage, and then I got to think about which special effect I'm gonna use. I'm like, okay, do I narrate here or do I? So I got all kind of
Yeah,
mixed up,
it's the
and
special effects that worry me because you need to have like a little bit more tact with the system to be able to narrate them
you
correctly.
do. So after that, Adept and I uh, did like practice combats. We did like 5 or 10, just maybe like 5 mini combats in a row, and like we even made a flow chart. We're like, say what you're gonna do, roll. Then the other guy says what he's gonna do, and he rolls. You compare the level of success, and then
Oh, so you got like a whole procedure?
yeah, and then if you have a special effect, you tell the other guy what to roll to resist it, and then if he fails, then you narrate doing the special effect. And I know it's got a reputation for being like quote unquote crunchy, and we did kind of, or at least I did, kind of stumbled over myself in that last session. But I think it's going to be a lot smoother going forward.
I think crunchy doesn't need to be clunky, right? Those are two different
It's
things.
not clunky. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So I mean, if you guys did like a whole like flow chart, then that's good. But did you guys
yeah,
manage to like only talk in character and still get all those interesting rules out?
yeah. I don't. Maybe I had to pause for a second to like, wait, do I do this? I don't think I did. I don't think I did. If I did, it was like 5 seconds. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
fine. Like
I don't. I think it
a lot
support.
of systems you need to be able to talk a little bit about character, like
Yeah,
how it happened in the 5e game Mjolnir played. Like there was no way around it. You had to like say, what does the spike growth spell do, or what do I roll for this to resist this, right? Do you roll to
yeah,
attack, or do I roll a saving throw? Some systems can be annoying like that, especially systems that are not designed around 4D.
yeah.
That is like my biggest worry with Mithras. It can be like a little bit clunky to work that out.
Reading through it, I was almost wondering if the creators were into 4D because I think it support. I don't think they actually know about it. Maybe I don't know, but I think it supports it. One, because the rules are diegetic, like we were talking about earlier. A rule for in Mithras is something that's actually happening. Uh, and yeah, as we iron it out, like you're not even gonna realize, like if you watch it, you're not even gonna realize I'm going through like 5 steps. I'm just gonna be like, we're both gonna have our roles. You'll see those. Um, I'll say the word success. Adept will say failure, for example. And then I'll look at my cheat sheet for like 3 seconds, and I'll say, roll endurance, and he'll roll endurance. And then I just narrate. It's gonna
I
look
agree,
very
it's fine.
clean, you know.
Not even the best 4D player is going to have 100% of in character. Every now and
Yeah,
then you will need to step in. Yeah, that can happen. It's not that big of a deal. I want to try Mithras because I've not actually played like 4D Mithras before. Maybe we'll get to play once you
yeah,
have more free time. That'd be a very good experiment.
absolutely. Um, After the campaign we're in, Adept's gonna run another one using Mythic Britain. It's a campaign setting. I think it's
Oh
like
yeah,
early medieval. Like I think it's in the late 400s or maybe 500s.
yeah, very early
Yeah,
before
I
even
really
like
like it.
Christianity took over.
Yeah, you've got you got pagans and Christians basically are the two, I guess, magic systems. And Christianity in there is not you're not having a bunch of spells. You're praying to God and hoping something will happen.
That's a cool way to do
And
it.
maybe something will, maybe not. That's it, you know. There's like a couple priests that are statted in the book, I think, and they're not very powerful at all, you know. They're just guys.
Yeah, low fantasy games. I mean, they make more sense, right? It's easier to get immersed in a low fantasy game.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not like
Really.
there's flying carpets all over the place. The king has a ring of teleportation.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. There's this picture of King Arthur in the book, just standing there with his big old sword looking raw. It looks awesome.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Zonalar says, you know the rules, Conway. If you ask a GM a question, you die. That's the
If you
rule.
ask the GM a question, that's 14 whippings, I believe.
Fair is fair. I think I have a dagger around here somewhere.
No, but seriously, I like Mythos, and I want to see how it does in 4D. There's
Oh yeah.
that's true for a lot of systems as well, including like the system I'm like writing.
Mm-hmm.
So
At least starting off, It is a D100 skill system. It's gonna be you just chuck the D100. You're like, oh, okay, I do the thing. No math involved. It's gonna be super easy.
That is the best way to play a game.
That's the best way. And Adept convinced me on that. I don't know, maybe a year back. He's like, people are talking about game design, and he's like, why am I doing any math at all? Why should I add a number to a d20? Like, why can't I just roll something and look and just know? And I'm like, oh, dang, you're right.
Exactly. D100 is almost perfect for me. Almost perfect. There's like one issue with D100 for me, which is it uses D10s. I have this thing where I don't like nerd dice. I like my games having only like D6s.
That's fair. Fair enough.
I was toying with the idea of playing with only D6s, and I actually changed my system from D100 to 3D6 roll under because I think it was pretty cool. I have a lot of cope reasons as to why I'm doing it, but the real reason is I just don't like the D10. But D100s are like the best game to play online because just so quick, just roll. You know exactly what happened. Roll under systems, the player, that's how it goes. Just click that and it goes. But another good thing about that is that in a roll under system, the player has all the targets in his sheet. So it's like the best way to do it as well.
You've got the number right there. If it's harder, and you know, on a Mythra sheet, you've got your skill number, but you've also got, if it's a little bit easier, you've got that number. If it's a little bit harder, you've got that number. No asking for the armor class, no asking for DCs.
Yeah, it's baked into the sheet. That's so good. I kind of want to do that with my 3d6 roll under as well. Where it's not even like, oh, you roll you target 72 minus 10, right? The GM isn't giving you modifiers. In Mithras, like you said, like it's already pre-baked into the sheet, right? So it's like the normal number, slightly easier, slightly harder. For my system, I want to do that, but with zero math. So the way it does is it's just advantage. It's the advantage system. So
there you go.
I don't like advantage in D20 games because in a D20 game, advantage does too much. It's like a 5.5 average difference, right? So advantage is too powerful. But if you're rolling 3d6 and you add an extra d6 and then you pick the 3 lowest, that is not as meaningful as advantage in the d20 system where you roll 1d20 to 2, right?
Yeah.
And you can actually do even more. Like you can do a 5d6. You can like stack advantages on top of it.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I was thinking about that just yesterday. I had never thought about that before, but just yesterday I was like, how about 3d6 roll under? And then for advantage, you add a dice.
Really?
Yes,
that is
just popped into my head. I was like, that's interesting. Oh, well.
That's what I'm gearing my system towards. I like that idea.
Elias says D100 is just as swinging as a D20. Well, yes. That's not a problem for me. What do you think about that, Conway?
Okay, swingy is a strange term. I recommend you watch the Rolling Stag video. Of course, the D100 and the D20 are both... A D20 system is a D100 system if you think about it. Like if you're trying to beat a DC 14 and you have a +3, then you have like a 55% chance of doing it. It's the same thing. The difference is not in the dice you're rolling. The difference is in how you come up to those numbers, right? A D20 system has one way to arrive at those numbers, and a D100 has a different way to arrive at those numbers. Theoretically, you could have a system like Pathfinder where the modifiers are really high. So like, oh, my character has a +11 to stealth at like level 3. Totally can happen in Pathfinder. In that sense, yeah, it's not swingy because the way it's generating the math is good. A D100 game, though, since the base of the target are your stats, then by definition, the math is more likely to not be swingy. So, you know, if one character has like a 20% dexterity, another character has a 60% dexterity, then it is definitely not as swingy as a game like 5e, where like at most you have a +4 to roll to something, and then a +0. Because there it's like a difference of 20%. But in the example I gave you, the difference is double that. It's a difference of 40% of 20 to 60.
It's not that you need a bunch of dice. It's not the type of die. It's the size of the bonus in the case of D20.
Exactly.
If you do a system that generates a bell curve, it could feel better than a D20. It probably will. Like we used 2D10 in that Shadow Dart game, and it felt better because we're successful more of the time. But so yeah,
a bell curve makes a bonus much more meaningful in a rollover system, because a bell curve makes it so that much more of the rolls are going to be right in the center. So that's when like your +4 is worth a lot more. If your thing is flat, then a +4 is only worth a +4. But if your thing is curved, then a +4 will like push you over the edge. So that's how it makes it less swingy.
For sure.
That is what I'm talking about, a roll under system as well. A roll under system, your base is most of the math, whilst in a roll over system, the half of the die is most of the math. I mean, have you wondered why the base DC for something in like 5e is a 12? Because on average, a D20 will roll 10.5.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But now the modifier is a smaller percentage of the math, so it feels more swingy. Elia is right.
Yeah. The most of the time when you succeed, it's because of luck, and a bit of the time when you succeed, it's because of your modifier. All across the board, whatever level, whatever your stats are, it's more because of luck if you look at the math of it.
Yeah. So yeah, D100 is just as swingy as a D20. The difference is that a system that usually uses a D100 is a system that uses more of your stats as modifiers.
Yeah.
So it's not actually the die that makes the system swingy or non-swingy. It's how much of your stats is baked into the math, how important it is.
Yeah. It's like if someone tells me D100 is swingy and I have a 75 skill, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to succeed 75% of the time. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. But it is true, if you have a bell curve, like Elias said, you're going to have a more predictable result. For me, thinking of bonuses or things like that is just, a D100 is just easier. And for me, like a 2D6 is, and I have, like, say if I have a +1, here's the curve. +1 means something different here than it does here, than it does here.
Exactly.
It changes in size. I'm like,
that's the thing. I've always been like you. I believe that the easier it was to look at the math, the better, right? But then I started doing some cope because I want to have a 3d6 roll under system.
mm-hmm.
And here goes some absolute cope, by the way.
Go for it.
When you're like running down an alley and there's like a dog chasing you or something, right? And you see like a chain link fence, like, oh, I need to climb up the chain link fence, right? Do you know your exact percentage chance to climb the chain link fence?
Oh yeah,
you don't. I mean, you kind of know, like, oh, well, I'm pretty good at climbing. I can probably do it. It doesn't look too hard. But you don't know, like, I have an 84% chance of climbing the chain link fence, right? It feels like robotic and unnatural. In a way, a 3d6 roll under system does that better, because you don't have all the 3d6 roll under math in your head already, like a D100 does. It's like, yeah, I can probably roll under a 10. I mean, 3 dice to go from 1 to 6. Yeah, I think like I can roll under a 10. Right? It gives you that same like an easy feeling, like, can I do this? You know, and you're about like to go do something difficult. And I like that in the 3d6 roll under system. That is one of the reasons as to why I want to try that out. Although the main one is the thing that I just hate, D10s.
That's funny. That's completely fair, actually. Obfuscating the success chance a little bit.
I mean, do you know what your chances are of rolling a 10 or lower in a 3d6?
No idea.
That's exactly 50%.
10 or lower? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm designing this, so I need to know the math, right? But if I'm playing with a bunch of friends, I want that little edge of like, oh, I don't know. It feels like I can do it. Anyone can realize rolling under a 5 is almost impossible with 3d6, right?
Hmm.
But but after that is like a little bit harder to predict. And I like that. Like you can know that something is almost impossible. Like, oh, if I want to do this under a 5, that's almost impossible, right? But oh, I need to roll under the 12. I can probably do it in 3d6. Makes sense.
Mm. That totally makes sense. One thing I will say about D100 is sometimes you don't know the difficulty until you do the thing. Say I start climbing up the wall. GM, okay, roll. What is it called? Athletics hard. You didn't know it was going to be hard. Oh shit!
That's a good point.
So you didn't know your odds. Also, opposed rolls. If I got 75 and you got 58, and we're both rolling, what are the chances that I'm going to succeed? What are the chances that you're going to critical or fumble or succeed or fail? We don't know. I have no idea.
Zeller did the thing that I usually do. 2d6 is not a bell curve. Yep. 2d6 is technically not a bell curve. You need at least 3 dice to make a bell curve.
Oh, yes.
Technically.
That is correct, Zonalar.
Push his glasses up.
That's true. That's true.
That is a good point about the D100 thing. My issue there, though, is that you're using math, right? Like I have a 78% chance to climb the chain link fence, but now I need to do math. Oh, okay, it's a minus 20. It's very easy math, much easier than the D20, but it's still some math,
Yeah.
I want to make a system where there's zero math. It's all comparing numbers.
Excuse me. Well, you just have it on the sheet.
You couldn't, yeah.
Yeah. And then zero math. There's so many tricks and cool things you can do with D100s. I guess you can also do them with other dice systems, but like it's just
Yeah, that's one
cleaner
of the
and
things I
works
like
better.
D6 as well. Yeah, that's one of the things I like in the D6 as well. The 100 lends itself to degrees of success because you can just like most games just say, oh, your degrees of success is equal to your roll. So if you get a victory with a 43, but the enemy gets a victory with a 27, you won because you rolled higher than them. And I like this. Like you want to roll as close to your target as possible, but not above it. Like the closer you roll to the target, the better. It's just very simple math. I kind of translated that over to my 3d6 roll under. It really is just a D100 system, like masquerading, like disguised as a 3d6 roll under, because the degrees of success is equal to the highest die you roll. So, like, if your target is like a 7, you can never get a 6 degree of success, right? Because if you're rolling 6, and you can't even ever get a 12, even if you get a 7, even if you roll 1 in the other two. But if you have like a pretty high target, like a 13, then you can roll a 6, and then the other one is like a 2 and a 3, and you beat it, but now you have like 6 degrees of success, right? And I like that. So like the highest dice is your degree of success, but you still need to roll under the target.
I see. Yeah. It is kind of the same thing. Just the math is different.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Am I going to join Impact Frame? I don't know. Still wrapping up some life stuff. I should be available to join games hopefully this week or next week. But I'm going to look around at all the available games and see which one I want to do. Or start another one. Maybe I shouldn't start since there's so many open games. Should join one for now. Ah, yeah. Zonalar, you are always awake. You are the night elf. The Swiss Night Elf. Another thing about D100 is it's so much easier to write for. If I was going to write like a module or something, it's like, oh, how strong do I want this guy to be? 30 weak, 60 medium, 90 strong. There you go. I'm not doing all this. Okay, he's got a plus 12 and he's got AC 21, but this guy's got a plus 9 and AC 19. So what are the odds of this? What are the odds of that? I just put a percentage. It's so much easier to design for. Very easy. The Night Elf. I see. I would like to roleplay an elf. Never done that. I've only roleplayed humans and an Atlantean. That was cool. Played an underwater Atlantean adventure. Had to basically I heard about rumors of war plans, and then my girlfriend was kidnapped, and I got a freaking harpoon stuck in my leg. I had to track him down, and no, I was captured. They brought me into their secret base, which was actually like a sunken submarine, but we didn't know what it was. We'd never seen that. There was like torpedo tubes and stuff. We had no idea what that was. And I was captured. There was like this electric eel. This was actually a UNPC challenge, no prep challenge. And before the game started, I decided that I was a magic character. And the GM was like, okay, let's start. I'm like, oh, but what? I need to say what my magic is. You know, we need to decide that. He's like, it's cool. We'll just start. So during the game, I decided my magic was controlling sea creatures. And I didn't make any more spells than that. That was like my one magic spell. So I used my magic to control. The electric eel was going to like torture me. But instead, yeah, I was rolling my magic to control the electric eel and take out the guards. And, you know, I was going around the facility looking for things. I found my girlfriend or girl I liked. I don't know. Rescued her, got out of there. And there's these guys. They were like using these, I think it was sharks, but they were like riding on them, going really fast, chasing me. And I had to like swim up to the surface so that I could see the stars and navigate my way back home, because I didn't know where I was. When I was captured, I was like knocked out and I woke up in the cell, so I didn't know where I was. So I had to like swim up and then figure out where I was based on the stars and get out of there, riding off on like a speedy shark and escaping. It was really cool. Only thing I did wrong was I kept saying, I walk over here instead of swimming. I'm like, why am I I'm just walking underwater. I don't know why. But yeah, it was fun. And it was a bit harder to role play in that. That's the most alien setting I've role played in before, an Atlantean adventure. Really liked it. Roll for magical aptitude 1 to 7, normal guy, 8 or 9, some magical talent, like an adept, bard, or cleric, 10, magically gifted, like a wizard, sorcerer, or psychic. Yeah, there you go. That's one way to do it. It helps with a verisimilitude, you know, making magic a bit more realistically uncommon. You know, not everybody can play the wizard. Throw it into your UNPC so you can have the magical character in your heroic post-apocalypse setting. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. So you can switch it up. You can have that magic character. Also, I mean, you could just tell your players, okay, one of you can be a magic character, but not everybody, and they could just go with it. But also, you could roll for it. That'd be good. Hello, Conway.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back. Join the Oops All Magic game. Oh, I might do that. That actually sounds cool. I think I don't remember if I typed this in the other stream or not, but I think it'd be cool to do Oops All Magic game because you can all be in the same coven. You'd be a coven of wizards advancing your plots together.
I've actually played an all magic game before, using spheres of power for Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
That made like every spellcaster feel very different. It's pretty fun.
Cool. Very nice. Well, D20 is the nerdiest die of all, so.
It is, yeah. I like Pathfinder. It's a character flaw, let me tell you.
Oh, that's understandable. I'm like, well, it's okay. No, I've never played it, but if I know it's better than D&D for sure.
It is the best. It's kind of like the best of the overly greasy burgers, you know? Like you can tell this isn't good for you,
Yeah.
but it's like the best one out of the bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was like doing a D20 game, I'd do Pathfinder for sure. I don't know, probably 1E. Tyler keeps saying to do 1E. Is that what you play?
Can pay me to play second edition. We're actually gonna play a Pathfinder game. Is running a module for us. It's gonna be me, Zolar, and Nicholas. It's gonna be great fun.
Oh, that's gonna be a good game. Yeah, y'all are all.
I need to make a character. I have a very cool idea for a character, but I need to put it to paper.
You have to set aside a weekend for that.
It's gonna be that long, but yeah, I should read a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
It's a character option purgatory. You have a billion different options.
It's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Let's see. Oh, back to the magic ideas. Sonar says, even having clerics and wizards in the same group would be cool. Miracle Worker and Sorcerer bashing heads regularly. Yeah, just like in our Shadow Dart game. Had Big Bad, the cleric, and Nicholas. He was playing a wizard, but it felt more like the elf. It felt like his magic power came from his elfiness.
That's awesome, yeah.
Okay,
Ooh,
we've got
Elias
several
talked
opinions
about Shadow Dark. Yeah.
Shadow Dart.
I don't like Shadow Dark because the modifiers are too small. And it also has an advantage system, which I dislike in a D20 game. But yeah, other than that, it's like very simple. You should just get into it and play.
Yeah, I would. I would. It's funny because I would probably say Pathfinder is the best because of the math. But if you actually ask me to join a D20 game, I'd be like, okay, Shadow Dark, because my main game's Mithras, and I don't want to invest into learning all the
exactly. You're right.
everything. Shadow Dark's easy. One thing I don't like is the carousing mechanic. They're like, oh, just in case you were worried you'd have to role play outside of the dungeon, don't worry, we got you covered. Yeah. You can roll on a chart instead.
Yikes!
Like, why? That said, I'm writing. I've written a little mod adventure for it. I'll publish it sometime. I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
I I did the opposite. People always say you should lean into what the system is about. My first 3 pages, I'm like, ignore this from the core. Ignore this. Ignore this. So I don't know if people will like that or not.
Zonal
But
art is
whatever.
totally right. Right, investment. Right, it's about investment. I've already invested the time into Pathfinder, which is why I like it. If I had to learn it to play a new game, I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't need. What is it? 300 pages each for the 3 core books, totaling 900, something like that. Same with D&D.
I
I
think
know
it's bigger than
Mithras
that.
probably. D&D is like 900, so Pathfinder is probably 1,000, maybe. I don't know.
Just the core rule book for first edition Pathfinder is 576 pages.
Ah! I know it's all options. I shouldn't be that scared, but still, man.
Way too much, yeah.
I know Mithras. People get scared of it. I'm like, it's 300 pages, one book. It's got the monsters in there. It's got everything all in one book. The font size is 9, but it's one book. Anyway, gotta be honest. I'm not looking up the swimming or grappling rules, but I will swim and I will grapple. Grapple, close my
Exactly.
eyes, and let Tyler take the wheel. Man, I'm all about reading the book before the game. If you, I'm like, don't show up if you don't know the game, please.
Okay,
But
come on,
yeah,
you first. Read the 600-page fucking Pathfinder book.
okay, fair. I'm not gonna
Uh,
do that. Read the basics, and you need to know how to play. You don't
I've
got to know
read.
all the options.
I think I've read the whole book, just like separated over 5 years of playing Pathfinder.
That's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
Man, let's
Elias,
see.
I played Easy D6 in the PC games and actually didn't like Easy D6. It has meta currencies.
I'm not big on meta currencies either.
Yeah,
It,
I hated that it has meta currencies, and I hated how like you either roll a D6 or you have advantage. There's like no in between.
I
So you
know.
either are proficient or not, and there's like no levels of
That's
like
it.
proficiency. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I, I, it's not my favorite, but if people are playing it, I'm like, okay, let's play. It's easy.
It's easy enough, yeah, to just pick up and play. You're right.
Um, it's very easy. It doesn't get in the way. I just think there's systems that represent things better, represent your skill better, that don't get in the way either. So you might as well use those. That's my thoughts on it. But yeah, you can definitely 4D in Easy D6. It's easy. Someone wants to play Warhammer D6. Oh, I didn't know
What
there
is
was
Warhammer
one.
D6? Yeah, I don't know either. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
tell us about it. Tell us all about anyone watching. Tell us about the games you like and why. I love to hear that. And then just ignore you.
Wow, the
Nah.
voices in your head won that one, eh? You had to say that out loud.
Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory.
Oh, nah. I
No?
can't. I just can't, no. Because you can have a party of like a commissar, a space marine, a sororitas, and they're like, these guys are different power levels. They shouldn't be in the same party.
I see.
But that's my 40K nerdiness speaking. If I'm role playing a space marine and I'm as strong as a commissar, I'm gonna get nerd rage.
D6 dice pool system, but you only go up to like 6 to 8 D6s, unlike Shadowrun. Oh, that's easy. That works. I like dice pool if it's simple.
I love Vampire the Masquerade 20th anniversary edition.
Vampire 20th edition. 20th
20th
anniversary.
anniversary. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He says you have power levels that categorizes classes into their own tiers, so no, you don't play a Ganger and a Space Marine in the same tier.
This may just be me being a real life dwarf, like grumbling, but I like the way Fantasy Flight does it, where like if you want to play Space Marine, there's a book for Space Marines. If you want to play Inquisitors, there's a book for Inquisitors. If you want to play a Rogue Trader, they separate like all these different very rich lore factions into different books, because then you get a lot of very good flavor for them, right? If you're playing a Space Marine book, it's a whole book of Space Marines for you to play through. But then in Wrath and Glory, like you can play a lot of different types of characters, so you don't get as much flavor of it. It's kind of like you guys said about a Rogue Trader, where like the Rogue Trader has a very cool like a career path system, where, like you plan out your backstory, and then like players can meet in the backstory. That's because it's geared towards Rogue Traders. But if the book is supposed to gear for Rogue Traders, Space Marines, Inquisitors, fucking Commissars, Imperial Guard, they don't get as much content for it, basically.
That makes sense to me. As someone who's never played or know anything about Warhammer, but yeah, that makes sense. I don't think that's you just being an angry dwarf. Absolutely, it's much harder in the Warhammer lore to get all the player classes to play together, but the older games did the heavy lifting for the GM by limiting options.
I think you need to limit player options. I don't know.
Yeah. It's generally better. Meta currencies called Wrath and Glory, respectively.
Sheesh. Could you imagine if D&D had Dungeons and Dragons that you could spend? I'm going to use my dungeon token. I don't know. I would actually like to try out Wrath and Glory, but I know I'm not going to like it.
That's funny.
I really like the FFG 40k RPGs. Dark Heresy, Only War, Rogue Trader. Those are awesome. I would love to hear that similar.
Oh, by the way, Elias, you're Eli, right? From the server. I haven't seen you I don't think I've seen you in any games. It'd be cool if you did.
Eli,
I don't know. I don't know if you're
game.
busy or something. Huh?
There's a killer game that Eli sent me where they were playing superheroes. It was an awesome game. It had Crispy and it had Phil, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Great game. I'm not a big fan of superheroes, but the role playing that was great.
Do you know which channel it was on?
I can give you a link, I think. Yeah.
Okay. My phone is doing its best. It doesn't like to charge. I don't know why. The charger will fall out and it charges really slowly. And that's what I'm recording on using a phone camera. So
ooh, that's rough.
I've got it on the charger, but I can only record for so long.
I think my phone camera will be better than my laptop camera that I'm using. But here we go. Here's the game I've been talking about.
Okay. Justice is blind. Total party skills. Or total party system. Okay. I'll have to check that out for sure.
No, that triggers me. That triggers me, Zolar. I'm sorry. I know what a Space Marine Scout is, okay? But a Skitarii is much more powerful in the lore than a Space Marine Scout. The Skitarii are like the elite of the Mechanicus. And a psyker can be anything from like a warp witch that gets killed in one shot to like a uber powerful fucking uh like Imperial Guard battle mage. That can like an Imperial Guard battle mage can like destroy a ship with his mind.
I know vastly different power levels isn't necessarily a bad thing, like comparing Frodo and Gandalf, they're in the same party.
I did that before actually.
But very cool. But would it make sense in Warhammer? Or would the Skitarii just be like, get away from me, and just like blast it with the bolt gun
No,
or something?
the only thing that wouldn't make sense there is the rogue trader. Like, why would a rogue trader hang out with these guys?
Mm.
Yeah, playing
It's,
Skitarii
it's
group would be very fun.
would you say it's like Han Solo hanging out with
No,
stormtroopers or something?
so rogue trader is a different power level of game, but it isn't a power level because a rogue trader is very powerful individually, like a space marine. A rogue trader is the captain of a ship that has like 200,000 people aboard, right? He is the captain of a ship. Why is he fighting in the front lines?
Okay. I had no idea.
Oh, okay. If it is like a fallen, if it is like a fallen uh rogue trader dynasty, then it can make sense, right? They're trying to get like their power back. But that's the thing, though. If you want to play Rogue Trader, just play the Rogue Trader book. It has like everything you want to play a Rogue Trader. It's not just like a forced thing, like a forced class. It's much richer. And this is what I mean when I played a game before that I did different power levels. Because here's the thing that this is what the liberals don't want you to know. But you can just play a Space Marine character in a Rogue Trader game, and the rules are basically the same. I did that. It's called Death Watch. Death Watch is the Space Marine roleplay for 40k by Fantasy Flight. One of the players just played a Death Watch game, while the others were playing Rogue Trader. It's the same rule set. Of course, he is like much more powerful than the other characters, but he's like their champion. He's like the specialist combat guy. So the Rogue Trader is like up in the bridge, like drinking wine, while he is down there, like killing everyone. Yeah, the Rogue Trader is my favorite RPG of them all because it gives you so much power and freedom. Like when you start the game, uh, in Rogue Trader, like at least you have like a ship with 20,000 people in it. Like you're already like uber powerful. You're going around with the power to destroy a planet, maybe. And that's really cool because now you're playing like a higher tier of play, right? It's not just you're going around killing guys in dungeons. No, your Rogue Trader dynasty can establish colonies and make a whole new planet become a thing. That's really cool.
That is awesome. High power characters can be really fun. Even just being the captain of a small ship. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm the captain.
You go explore space. Yeah, I should run a Rogue Trader game.
Oh, that'd be awesome. 4Ding how to.
That would be a good 4D game. Yeah.
How to.
Because it's your ship,
20,000 people. Yeah.
You can 4D everything in your ship. Oh, I'm going to the strip club that I have in the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't even be out of place in a Rogue Trader game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to play Wrath and Glory one of these days.
Guardsman campaign.
I'm sorry, did I hijack your stream to talk about my autism?
I think so, but that's what the stream's for. Just whatever. So it's fine by me.
Yeah, I saw you were on. I'm like, we should have a conversation. Like, just talk about RPGs. It's really fun to get into these streams, and so it's good to get more people making videos. It's more stuff for me to listen to in the background while I'm working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know how much work you're doing now. But yeah, this is the first time I've streamed anything, so I'm glad it's working. And all the videos of games I've been in I've never actually been the one recording and uploading. It's always been the other guy, and I just put it on my channel sometimes. But now I know how to do that, thankfully.
Yeah, I like being here. Uh, Thank you for having me. In fact,
Absolutely.
oh, the Death Watch game that I mentioned has rules for the players to fight a Warhound Titan. It's the strongest thing ever statted out in 40k. Is it a Warhound or is it a? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, yeah, it's the Warhound. So you can actually fight the Warhound in a FFG 40k, which is like the tiniest of the Titans, like one of the tiniest, I should say.
What's my cool? A Riptide.
Don't bring me your Tau bullshit, you know? We're not playing Tau. Humans only in 40k RP, unfortunately. Actually, you can play a Tau in Rogue Trader because Rogue Traders have more freedom to be with aliens.
He's playing Tau. The female Tau.
Oh no, don't.
Obviously. In a stealth battle suit.
You can get those in Rogue Trader, I believe. Okay, let's not hijack the stream to talk about Rogue Trader. Let's
It's fine. But I was gonna say I've never role played a female character as a player. I of course have done it as a GM. I remember one game I was running a long time ago, you know, in 2D D&D days. For a while it was just my sister playing. We got some more people eventually, but it was just her, and I kind of had an NPC, like a female NPC going along with her, you know, as like a guide, I guess. But I guess I did okay. I played her as like kind of like a ditzy redhead druid, and I don't know if I role played it well or I was just kind of being a ditzy archetype. I have no idea.
I don't think I don't have a problem playing a female character as a GM. And I don't I don't worry about it too much because you just play like a
I
normal
didn't
character.
think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna make a character that is female, that's weird because women think very differently from men, right?
Yeah, if I'm a player, it'd be a challenge because I'm role playing that character all the time.
Yeah, if you're gonna like delve deeper into a single character by being the player of the character, then it's harder because women think very differently from men. Like our brains are structured differently, and this is this is 100% a biological thing because babies in the crib, like female and male babies, have different patterns of looking at things. Male babies are more interested in objects and in like mechanics. So like male babies will like look at like trains more often, while female babies will look at like people's faces. They're more like they have more social intelligence than your average male, right?
So apparently, when I was born, I didn't really cry that much. I was just watching it, observing everything.
Yeah, see, it's a male trait. This is something that I like in my RPGs as well. Like the RPG I'm writing will have difference in stats for males and females. And I know it's like a big political thing. You just don't care about like all the political drama. I don't care.
I don't care.
The thing is, when you see like a female character defeat a male character, there's a lot of meaning in that because of the way just humans are like trained, right? This is how humans work. It is like strange to see a female defeat a male. Yeah. So I want that to have a meaning in the system as well. Right. I want the female character to not just be like a like exactly like a male character. I want her to be special. And I
Yeah,
want when like the femme fatale kills the guy, that's awesome. But I want there to be like actual like meaningful mechanical interactions for that.
yeah, it's a good point. Zonar says, "You guys did watch the playing a female character part of my show today." Yes. Um, yeah, and I agree. I don't think you should necessarily never play a female character for a guy, but it's a challenge. I think if you do it every time, you're weird, or
That's
maybe,
obvious, yeah.
or maybe you're more feminine or something. I don't know, but um, yeah, if I were to do it, it would be a challenge. I think.
Yeah, it's like the meme of the guy playing a chick, you know. Oh, I have these now.
Only if the dwarf has a beard, Zonalar. Isn't that lore accurate? I don't know.
I think it is, yeah.
At least for Lord of the Rings. That's what I've heard. Yeah. It's like I wonder. I was thinking about that today. Like if I played a female and like a woman in like a I don't know fantasy thing, going on an adventure. Like, what if I'd like just go home and and or like what if I'm more concerned with taking care of a baby or like my social circle
Oh,
or
that's the
something?
thing, right? I don't
It's
think you
like
need to go that
I'm like
far.
you don't have to.
I,
I
I think that there are some very good female characters out there, like Ripley. Ripley is a badass, like awesome protagonist, but she still feels feminine, right? She has like that
someone
good side of femininity.
I don't remember who said it. Someone said like the other day, Ripley's not really a female character in the first one. She's a character. She's female, but her feminine part doesn't really affect anything until the second movie.
It's much stronger in the second movie, but even in the first movie, like the way she tries to defend everyone, she's like very empathetic towards everyone. That is a feminine trait. She
Um,
wants to get everyone safe back home. Uh, in the way she is more emotional as well, right? Being emotional is not a negative thing.
no.
Uh, but that's really cool. Like you can feel like, yeah, I think you can feel like she's a very feminine character. That's a good thing. A lot of feminine characters. Why would you want your female characters to just be male characters, right?
Yeah.
They are feminine and they use that femininity for power, right? It's not bad for you to have
Yes.
feminine power.
Yes.
It seems like people nowadays just want to make the female characters into male characters for some reason.
Yeah.
In a way, they're actually
I'm
killing
sick of
femininity
that.
in movies.
They are. It's so tired. And we need that femininity to balance us out sometimes. For sure. Solar says I might have mixed up Terminator. Wait, he says Sarah Connor from either Tomb Raider or Terminator. She's the tomboy, but still in touch with her femininity.
Oh yeah, the first Terminator movie, Sarah Connor is really cool. Yeah, she isn't just the damsel in distress. She's smart. She has agency. She survives. It's really cool. And then in the later movies, they explore her even better, and it's even more awesome in those movies. Sarah Connor is a great character and a great example for it.
I like Ripley. I like I would have to read or like rewatch Joan of Arc, but I guess she would be a cool
Joan of Arc
character.
is cool because Joan of Arc is like the representation of the people, right? She has seen like the people are like losing their war, and she sees uh, her moment to join, right? Even with the feeble body of a woman, she joins the fight, and that's like the really powerful like emotional aspect of it, and why she's still a big cultural icon.
Hmm. That makes me think of Mulan. I'm trying to remember the Mulan story. I think I could be wrong because I don't remember stuff about Disney movies, but there seems to be like people will say like, oh, she's like trying to be like a man, it's this powerful feminist message. I'm like, well, she went to war, to defend her country and her family. she didn't really. I don't think it's like she just wanted to be a man. Um,
Yeah, there's an awesome speech
eh,
for you to listen to before the Battle of Tilbury, I think it's called, by Queen Elizabeth I. She has an awesome speech. She actually goes out and has a speech for
mhm,
her men, for her army, and it's just such a powerful speech. And when I say like a part of her speech is, I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, right? And that is so powerful because of course humans are like geared towards the sexes. That's like a normal thing. And
mhm,
uh, to hear the men listening to their queen say, "Yeah, I can't join you guys in fight, but I am a king," right? It was a very impactful speech by Queen Elizabeth I.
mhm, absolutely. Yeah,
And
it was
you
a
lose so much of that if you just make your women into men. You know, oh, they're just as capable. They have the same strength.
yes. As Zoller said, they're incredibly noble. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, female superheroes are cool, but I guess you don't have to balance that as much, because or really at all, because they got their superpowers.
I think that for like superheroes, it's more of a sex appeal kind of thing. Unfortunately, that is not something that I'm a big fan of. It's the same reason why I don't like anime. I feel like there's a lot of fan service in both in comics and in anime. Because I mean, even
There is
something like
for
old female superheroes are titillated to a certain extent, and I don't like that.
hmm
I think that they would wear armor. Like, why are they dressed like that? You know,
yeah.
even like the
I
older, more tasteful stuff.
I don't think everything needs to be realistic necessarily. If people go around in spandex, or if Conan goes around in a loincloth, or they have chainmail bikinis or whatever, I'm like, okay, whatever. But I get what you're saying too, of course.
Yeah, so this is something that I actually dislike. I dislike the idea of a chainmail bikini. Like, I get the appeal. You know, I'm a man. I get the appeal, but
Yeah.
I dislike it not because I'm like a prude, but oh, you can't depict women like that. I dislike it because it's just not realistic. You know,
hmm
Joan of
Yes.
Arc wore like armor. Like that's how women should go to battle, in my opinion. If a woman is to go to battle and we're to use that like rich tapestry uh, of like human emotion about women fighting, then yeah, they should
hmm
go to battle in armor. They shouldn't go in a chainmail bikini. That's just
Yeah.
stupid.
It is. Yeah. Can't deny that. Zonalar, you don't want to roleplay out the idolization slash sex appeal of female superheroes that are basically idol stars?
No, there can be a good moment to play that out, like the femme fatale, like oh she's a spy, like infiltrating the Nazis, you know. Then she will play the sex
hmm
appeal thing, but that makes sense. I want my story to make sense more so than I don't want
Yeah.
to role play the sex appeal.
Yeah, I could probably, roleplay that, if it made sense. I don't know if I'd necessarily enjoy it. I'd be like, okay, that was a little weird. Moving on to the next scene.
I don't think it would be awkward. Um,
Yeah.
it could be awkward. I don't know. I've not done the experiment. I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess it doesn't have to be, but I don't know. I remember I did a no prep challenge with Adept, and we rolled romance, and I was like, I don't want to do
Two
that. why,
dudes, yeah.
why is this on the list? Yeah, we're just two dudes sitting at the table in my grandma's house. I'm like, let's not. Bromance. He was like, why not? I'm like, no, I'm good. Frodo and Samwise.
That's so good. Yeah, man. Lord of the Rings is just so awesome.
I don't fully understand a lot of Lord of the Rings yet, but Sam was my favorite character. He's the best. Absolutely. Yeah, that was the best part, carrying him up the mountain.
Completely deserved. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? Lord of the Rings has like some older, like more conservative ideas baked into it. like how Sam and Frodo are of different social classes. Like Frodo is more like a noble, and Sam is like a working class, like almost serf, basically in the lore. Which is why he is, always calls Frodo master, and that's cool. That's a cool thing to roleplay.
Hmm. Yeah,
We
to get
lose a
out of
lot.
your modern mindset, think
Yeah.
like somebody else.
Hmm.
Yeah, gardener.
But that's the thing, though, right? If you're gonna, that's what I talked about when I said that my players, they didn't want the they didn't want the bandits to be killed by the town guard, right? Because they had modern day sensibilities back then,
Hmm.
and it'd be
Yeah,
cool to have the sensibilities of your character, right? Because here's the thing, I feel like media nowadays, if you had a thing like that, where like one guy is a serf and the other one is a noble, they would 100% of the time use that to say, oh, the noble is an asshole and the serf is like
yeah,
repressed. But in Lord of the Rings, they're just guys and they like one another, right? Like
yeah,
Frodo would die for Sam and Sam would die for Frodo. Like that old social caste system didn't hamper their friendship in any way.
yeah.
And you need to
I love that.
you need to humanize the people of the past. I think people have
Yeah,
a tendency to think that they're just stupid, but no, they're not stupid. I've
yeah.
listened to many people say, "Oh, if I was in the Napoleonic times, I wouldn't just stand around and wait to get shot, then shoot myself." Like getting shot back
Mhm.
and forth in the line. I was just like, I would use like camouflage. I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy. And then like a horse just runs you down because you're not in the formation, so you get attacked by cavalry. Like
Mhm.
humans have always been smart. You are just as smart as someone in the Middle Ages. Maybe you're more
Yeah.
educated, but you are just as smart.
Mhm.
So people don't understand like how well there are, of course, horrible moments in history. Chattel slavery, which is like
Mhm.
an Arabian invention, is like really awful. But if you go back to like to the Roman era, slavery wasn't that bad. Uh, that's gonna get clipped. Fuck. Uh, Here's an example. They had the Saturnalia, which is a day in the Roman calendar where roles were reversed. So the slaves became the masters and the masters became the slaves. So like you can never
Mhm.
imagine that in chattel slavery, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
So you don't treat your slaves very badly because when Saturnalia comes, they're going to treat you badly as well. And also you have empathy for them because you are being a slave for a day. Hello, Zolar.
Hey,
What's up?
The topic
Well,
switched
watching.
to slavery, so you came right in.
Yeah, watching you guys. I heard slaves going about, so I joined. Like Frodo, he liked Samwise, but he was his servant. It's the
mhm.
way you like somebody that you've known for 5 years, or basically since growing up, right? They're the same age, but it's a different class. He's your buddy, but he's also your gardener. What are you gonna do? But through the adventure of Frodo is ready to cut off everybody, it's a burden only I can bear. And Samwise recognized this like incredible, what is the right word? Like he is ready to sacrifice himself. Frodo sacrificed himself for the greater good, and he's not going to let him do it alone. Like, no, it's okay if you want to do it, but I'm coming with you, whether I know to swim or not. Gosh darn it.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah,
really blossomed that friendship to become stronger than old buddies from hometown to he's my friend, he has my back,
and then I'm
he
getting
will be
chills
there.
now because at the very end,
Absolutely.
it's actually Sam carrying Frodo. There's such a
Yes.
beautiful. It's almost a
Mhm.
reversal of it because Frodo's kind of like the chosen one, quote unquote. He gets
Mhm.
carried the
That's why
rest
it
of the.
works so well. It works so well on so many levels. And then people say, like Mr. Max, oh, he didn't finish the movies because it didn't make sense when Legolas surfed down on his shield to shoot the orcs during the battle at in the second movie. I forget what they're called, what
Yeah,
all the
elves are
battles are
The
super
called.
powerful though,
power.
right? Yeah,
That, I think, well, that's super. It's fun. Like you're allowed to have fun moments in a movie because it's a visual medium. You know,
I don't like the movies that much. The books are really good. The movies, my favorite
well,
character.
your opinion is wrong.
My favorite character.
Nerd fight, nerd fight.
My favorite character is Theoden, and they don't do Theoden
Yeah.
justice in the movies, unfortunately. Theoden is a very deep character in the books.
Ooh.
It's almost like a sad tale because Theoden is like an old king, and he gets to see
Yeah.
Aragorn pick up the mantle of being the true king, right? Aragorn is like older than he
Yes.
is, but he looks younger because he's a man of the West, and it's just kind of it's like this sad like duality of like, oh, okay, I am not that good of a warrior king, right? I'm gonna need to bury my
Yeah.
son. Theoden is just a deep. I love Theoden.
Yeah. I mean, they did a great job with Theoden, but I did not read
Not
the
as good
books. I can
as the books.
imagine that, that there are things cut out for brevity. They already went for the 12 hours trilogy. Nobody's competing with Lord of the Rings on that front.
But the actor that played Theoden is just too good. I don't know the name
Yes.
of any actors, but
A
have to give it to
true
him.
king among actors. There was a point I wanted to bring up about role-playing bandits, and the players were like, the modern sensibilities did not allow them to just kill them.
Mhm.
And it reminded me of a story playing my knights, specifically a purple dragon knight, who's like, he's part of an order to uphold chivalry and the rule of law wherever he goes. No matter, like, okay, if this country has laws or is lawless, I will uphold the laws that we believe are right in the kingdom of Cormyr. So I'm going to represent those. And the very first session we played was confronting some bandits that were robbing like an elderly couple on the road. And we like beat the shit out of them and basically got them. And the question was like, what do we do with them? Like, shoot them off? They started arguing like how they weren't even attacking the elderly couple. They didn't even steal anything. They were basically trying to steal from them, but we showed up, right? So I said, well, you're going to steal from them. So I asked the other player character, put down his arm so I can pull out my sword so I can cut off his hand. And the other players looked at me like I'm the crazy one. Like, my character is literally insane. Why would you cut off his hand? Like, you might as well tell him he's dead.
Mhm.
And the game master was dumbfounded. Like, I'm playing out the bandit. Like, what the fuck? Just kill me, bro.
It's so strange.
Yeah. So
That's the
in
game
the end,
master. That's the game master
Yeah.
asking you, let's just deal with this. I have like 3 more encounters I want to run.
yeah, he
Oh,
did not
yeah.
know what to do. He had absolutely zero curiosity of where this bandit scene can go. And I decided to relent, like, okay, all my companions don't want to kill the bandits. They don't want to take off his hand for highway robbery. I'm being really gentle. Okay, you get to keep one hand. You get to keep the good
Yeah.
hand. I take the weak hand. Just tell me which one it is.
It
Mhm.
feels like the
And I
players in the
decided-
GM didn't like that there was role play
Yeah.
in their role playing game.
It's so weird. They like role playing, but this one thing that we
So
started
they say.
with took them like completely off road because it's not what was prepared, right? You have an adventure you want to go through, and this isn't it, man. This was not part of it. It's not part
Exactly.
of the script.
You get to role play when the GM tells you to role play. When the GM tells you
Yeah.
to roll initiative, you roll initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
So-
totally imagine the GM being like, "Oh no, the cool role play moment is later when you guys like meet the elf."
Why are we waiting
My
to
brain.
get to the cool? I'm making this cool right now, guys.
Yeah, it
So-
makes me think of
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
planning to have to have chicken bones start drinking alcohol. That's going to be the cool part of the session.
Hey,
It gets me every time. It's so funny. It's so funny. Because I will say you're incredibly smart, Conway. You know a lot of stuff, and you are a deep thinker about topics. Like a theorist,
Thank you.
like Bacon, but younger and better looking.
They look that good. not gonna have hair for long, unfortunately. Like bacon, I guess.
Yeah.
You're on your way to becoming a sage. Take it from here, put it here.
To become smoked and seasoned.
That's actually a thing. In ancient Greece, they used to say that as you gain knowledge, you lose your hair, which is a funny joke because women don't lose their hair usually. That's what they used to say back in ancient Greece.
That's
Not what
funny.
I believe, but it is a funny thing.
My God.
Okay, Conway, sure.
But I decided to
Probably
take
just
him
left.
hostage. Yeah, he will be back, I'm
Still
sure.
here.
So I took the bandit as, well, then you will have to be my serf. I will allow you to be my slave for the time until you have done your time to repay the crime you've committed, basically,
That's so cool.
at my sole discretion. And at the first campsite we went to, and we talked a bit, and the GM was playing him incredibly cagey, like always having some weird comeback, like joke or so, just undercutting the meaningfulness of when I tried to talk to him. That as soon as I turned my back to him, he ran away, and then he was gone. I left him alone for 5 minutes, and the GM said that's a perfect opportunity for him to run away. And I was, frankly, incredibly disappointed at the lack. What's the right word for this? The lack of imagination of all the things you can do with a slave as part of the party in this high fantasy setting. In my head, I'm imagining, what's it called? The classic Drizzt books with the halfling, right? And
Yeah, I know
Drizzt
those.
saved, I think he saved a barbarian in Icewind Dale somewhere. And because he saved his life, he said, "No, I have to be with you. I serve you a life debt that I have to pay off. Until I can save your life, I am your slave," and followed him around everywhere.
That's so cool. And
How
I mean,
cool.
I think you hit the nail on the head. The GM had a plan, and he didn't have the time to bite your hook. Everyone talks about the
Yes.
GM putting hooks, but players put hooks to the GM just as much.
I put it right there. And I'm not GMing. This is my character. I'm an outlander, but I'm civilized.
It's the same thing that happened to the other story that he told, that I think you were going to tell that one about, like, your wife being captured. Like, you've not accepted just
Yes.
buying her. It's like,
That's the same character, yeah. Later in the story.
It's such like a cool like character thing, right? Like, I believe in the law. I'm not just going to buy my wife off of you. Like, you enslaved her.
Yeah.
I want to destroy you, basically.
Even if this crooked law works in this one city that people disagree with, but they deal with it because what are you gonna do? I will not stand for this. I will either change the way the city works, or I'm not killing myself. I'm not gonna die trying, because it's not my city that I'm gonna lay my life for. But I will do it for my wife. The hierarchy of principles.
So
this is why I say prep can be bad. If you prep something and you get like hyper fixated, oh yeah, this is so cool. I made this dungeon. They need to like ram the gate to enter the dungeon. It's gonna be like a battle scene.
Yeah.
Like 100 goblins are gonna ram the gate. If you
You're
marry
gonna
yourself
meet this
to that
witch
idea,
in the forest, but the players are talking in town with the wench and with the tanner and with the baker.
yeah,
It's like, oh, those are not important characters. The witch is a good part.
Yeah, I don't care if you're gonna like become friends and have this deep moment with this NPC. You should be going to where I want you to go, right? This is why you can't marry yourself to an idea. You need to let the game breathe.
Let it breathe. Have an idea for a setting, a premise. Stat up some NPCs, but just like their name, a skill they're good at, personality. That's it.
Yeah,
throw them away if you don't need them.
never design a solution, design a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, there's like a dungeon, it's a tower, but they barricaded the door. How are you getting in? Don't like make up like, oh, there's like this magic like ladder that they can get. No, no. Let the players come up with that. This is what 4D is for. Maybe one of the players like climbs up a
Yeah.
tree, like leaps into one of those windows, you know. Let the players come with the solutions, make the problems.
It's funny because Lich's Dregs, I had no problems. I had ideas of what could be enemies to the players. I had the elves. I've had some barbarians. I was thinking of a human town that is distinctly different from barbarians that are on a clock, that they will find the orcs soon, in a month's time or something, and build that up. But that never gripped into the story. Like there was no things were going on, the time was moving at a slow pace. Enough interesting things are happening that the players are involved in that I don't want to add another layer of complications. And then I thought of, okay, well, it's a force, it's ancient. There should be a droid. We are already in the borderlands, basically, of the last human kingdoms where like some laws are happening, and there be dragons out here. That's where the orcs live. The untamed wilds pushed to the edge. And what's in the forest? Well, some fucking Hydra walks around. Okay, what if I use an enemy that is just way too difficult for the players to handle? And they just have to figure it out, and that became the story.
And that's cool.
No
You let the
prep.
story breathe, and it became awesome. None of
Yeah.
what happened to our characters could have happened if it weren't for our like fixation with the Hydra.
It's weird. Like, what part of that could you even think of? Oh yeah, so like Sonalar has prepared a problem for us to solve.
I think you prepared multiple problems, and then you let the players choose one, right? I mean, you even said there's a Hydra, there's towns, you know.
Yeah,
I do think that you should make problems, otherwise the game is going to feel too stagnant. Oh yeah, you're in a forest.
right.
Okay, and like nothing happens. You're just in a forest.
They don't have to be the orc problems, but they can be. Or if nothing happens, conflict can arise. But there could also be, in my head, why does this village exist for a decade or more, or for how long does a village exist? If it anything that's longer than 2 years, then it's because they live in peace, or they defeated the enemies. There's no strong conflict, and if there is, they should have, like, why did it not happen in the past? And why should it happen now that the players show up?
That's what's cool. Technically, it was the party making the Hydra an orc problem. We wanted to use the Hydra to take over the tribe.
And the human hunters, they just happened to check their routine with the traps, and the corn pop said, like, nah, not in my fucking territory,
Yeah. And it's even cooler when the players make the problem. Like to them, like you didn't even. I'm gonna assume that you didn't even plan the orc war chief to be a problem for the players. But like, no, I don't like that guy. I want to overthrow that guy. Now that's like true, like proactive play.
Yeah.
You're not even reacting to a problem. You're creating a problem for yourself and going to fix it. That is how you should play proactively.
I feel like all I do is create problems for myself when I role play. I don't know why. All the characters I do just mess everything up. I guess that makes it easier for the GM. Doesn't have to prepare problems. I was nearly struck down by God. So
yeah. You can tell me if this is true for your elf hunter. Of you sit at a table and the game master creates all of these things for you to involve yourself in, but nothing has to do with your character. So you create a problem that is now personal to your character to solve. Does that ring true? You can say no, by the way. I was just thinking up on this on the spot.
I will be right back. I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
I don't know if I do that now. I think I'm usually able to follow my own goals. Before
Yeah.
4D, it was not about my goals, but I guess I just kind of went along with it. So no, unfortunately, I
There's
didn't
a
do that.
respect, like you want to give the game master the respect of spending all of his time. So let's play what he prepared,
Yeah.
and not be. Let's not be a
It,
dick.
at first, it was like, oh, let's respect him for everything he's planned, and then I was getting, more roleplay knowledge. Not 4D yet, but more roleplay knowledge. It was more like resenting him. I'm like, I don't want to do this
Yeah.
crap.
Why are you putting these chains on me, game master?
Yeah.
Why are you holding me back?
Why? Yeah. A
It's
lot of.
like
Go
the
ahead.
football meme, like put me in, coach. Come on, I can play. Just let
That's
me
what
on
I
the
feel
field.
like. Yeah. A lot of. I'll say one DM in particular would it was in a certain play by post. He'd say like, "Oh yeah, it's open. You do what players have agency and everything." Really, what it is what do you call it? Carnival? Not carnival.
Oh, theme park.
Theme park. Yeah, you choose
Yeah,
which biome or country you want to go to, and
yeah,
sure you choose, but then when you go there, it's his story that he has prepped for you. And
yeah.
even then, he would kind of say, where do you guys want to go next? By the way, I really like this one. I'm like, really? Really? It's like, oh, I worked really hard on this one. Just saying. I'm like, of course, everyone's, oh, let's do that one then. It was pretty lame.
And it's weird because man, resentment is such a strong a strong feeling.
Yeah.
And if you cannot talk about it with your game master, what eventually happens is, oh, this thing that I was doing for fun, it's not fun anymore. So next time
Yeah.
when it's time to play, I actually realized that going shopping and doing my taxes is more important to deal with
Mm,
than playing this god awful game with
yeah.
that game master that ignores all of my wishes.
Yep. I had to drop out of that game.
How did he handle it, or how did you handle it too? Was it a candid
Um,
conversation, or did you just try to let's not ruffle any feathers? I don't want it to become like this big problem.
I was playing less and less, and then um, I did go ahead and say something, but I didn't want to just ghost them. I wanted to at
Yeah,
least give them something. So, um,
ghosting does suck. Like that's really,
yeah,
really, because you don't even know what the problem was. You just know there is a problem. Nobody's telling me what. That's fucking scary, man.
yeah. I don't remember what I told them. If I smoothed it over, like, oh, I'm busy, or if I said like, I'm just more into a different kind of game or something. I don't remember if I was
Yeah,
honest or not. Unfortunately, um, but yeah, and there was no hard feelings or anything. It was just a couple messages, and that's it. And then a few months later, I wanted to start my own play by post, and I went into that server where the other play by post was and like
yeah,
advertised about it.
yeah.
because that's where all the players were. And
You
he's
did
like,
the elevator pitch to all the
yeah.
players you're interested in.
I was like, it's probably kind of rude, but they're all here. It's the easiest way to talk to them. And he's like, really? You quit my game and then poach my players? And I didn't say anything, but I was like, really? They're not your players, I'm not
Yeah.
poaching anything. I'm just saying I'm running a game. Join if you want to. You can be in 2 games. But anyway.
It's hard. That's one of the classic social situations. You see it all the time with guilds in video games. You don't like the
Oh
guild
yeah.
too much, you leave. You start with your own guild. You ask the players that you know that you liked if they want to join, and the next thing comes around is poaching accusations. You're trying to steal my. What they can all make their own choices. Don't you
Yeah,
even
it's
try to
immature.
fucking. Yeah, don't obfuscate shit. guy.
Oh my god, it's like a fucking herd. Like 2D players, like herding players. No, this is my herd. Can't get my cows out of here.
Yes, yeah.
But it is
Can't
like that
take
because yeah, my game is open for everyone. All you need to be able to play is voice chat. It's like you have no standards.
Like, yeah. I think I'll probably end it here. My battery's getting low. It's kind of late.
That's okay. Man.
My back's kind of sore. That's why I'm
Yeah.
always twitchy in videos. I try not to be all
Just sit
squirmy, but
comfortably.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'll
It
probably.
was a great conversation. Thank you for having me, David.
Was
Yeah.
good. Was fun.
Yep, good stuff. It's always a pleasure, guys. I guess the ending's kind of abrupt, but
Well, you
Oh,
gotta
well.
do it somehow, so do
Yeah.
whatever you gotta do.
It was great to talk to you as well, Zolar. Have a good night, man.
oh
Yeah,
wait,
cheers.
Zolar, real quick. You like my dice?
Nice.
Kind of like Shauner dice, but a little different.
Yeah, but can you
Yeah,
do
I
this?
like it. It does remind me of the Traveler. You know, the whole
Mhm.
Traveler look, the white and red with the black. We need
Yes.
more. You need I don't know what other watermarks are out there, but you need to add them.
I need that more watermark too.
I got
Oh,
this
you
one.
know that like some YouTubers use it. They use like this image websites. They just take the image and keep the watermark on. You can have like one of those just fake over the whole webcam, you know.
Oh, like stock images. Oh,
funny.
right.
Yeah, stock image. And you just have it like transparent overlaid over everything, you know. This is a stock video.
That's funny.
Yes. There we go. That's the ending.
All right. Good night, guys. Thanks
Have a
for
good night, man.
watching.